Valley Sports West, the heart of the fan.
Angels baseball on Valley Sports is presented by Morongo. It's game 2 of 3. Angels here in Houston, Texas, taking on the Astros. Oh yeah, Brandon Marsh is ready, and Shohei is ready. And they're facing a very tough pitcher in Framber Valdez. Patrick Sandoval takes the ball for your Halos. And the Astros have won 4 of the first 5 meetings. Time to flip the script with two-time All-Star Mark Gubiza. I'm Patrick O'Neill. It was Yordan Alvarez last night. How important is this one here tonight?
Well, you got to score some runs early. You can't give away any extra outs. You still got to be aggressive on the bases, even with Valdez, who has a good pickoff move, and a lefty. You still have to take chances against him because he doesn't give up many long balls in his career, so it's going to be putting together singles together.
Well, Gooby, 2 left-handers on the hill, and I don't think it's an exaggeration if you say one of the best secondary pitches in the game from both of them. Sandoval's changeup, Valdez's curve. Look at the percentage thrown, the whip percentage, and the opponent batting average. They get it done.
And the comfort, Patrick, of throwing those pitches, both of them, Sandoval and Valdez. Changeup for Patrick Sandoval is so good. 43% of his strikeouts were on his changeup. 56 strikeouts last year, 3 this year. So you're talking about 59 combined strikeouts and a whip percentage. We saw that over 51%. He can throw back-to-back pitches, but it's set up by his slider going the other way and his fastball upstairs, a devastating out pitch. Speaking of devastating out pitches, Framber Valdez's curveball, he's got 47% of all his strikeouts on his curveball, and nearly 90 strikeouts with his curveball last season alone. It starts up in the strike zone, ends up below. You have to try to bring that curveball in the zone. If you chase it out of the bottom part of the strike zone, it's a difficult task against him. Just bring it up enough, we make contact, and don't be in pull mode against it, go the other way.
Oh, looking forward to this great matchup. It's always fun when these two teams square off, and it's up to this guy up the middle. Andrew Velasquez has been picking it. Maybe he's going to earn himself a spot on the team for good. We'll find out more. Head back to the studio next with Ken French and Bobby Valentine. And it is indeed showtime here in Houston, Minute Maid Park. Shohei Ohtani, the Angels versus the Astros, game 2 of 3. Houston winning last night 8-3, another multi-homer effort from Yordan Alvarez. That's in the past. This is the present. The lineup for Joe Madden's Halos. Ohtani DHing. Taylor Ward is in right field. No Mike Trout, as you can see here. He's getting close. Hope to see him tomorrow. Anthony Rendon hitting third. He's back. That's good to see. Then it's Matt Duffy, Jack Mayfield, Kurt Suzuki, Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh, and Andrew Velasquez round out the Halos batting order here tonight at Minute Maid. Tough place to play, and certainly a tough guy on the hill in Framber Valdez.
Yeah, he's got a fastball that'll run up there, 92-96 range. His curveball, like we talked about, is a devastating pitch. Also, there's a pretty good changeup and a cutter. My go-to is to have success against Valdez today. He's pitched well against him in his career, but just be ready for the fastball at all times. 270 with 7 home runs versus his fastball. So you got to be ready for it since last year, and don't be in pull mode, especially with his curveball and even his changeup. You got to stay with the pitch and go up the middle or the other way, especially as a right-handed batter.
He was the opening day starter for Dusty Baker, won 6 2/3 versus the Angels, picked up the win. Valdez actually has 7 career wins versus the Halos. That's the most versus any team. So here's the defense behind Framber here tonight. Michael Brantley, Chas McCormick is in center. Kyle Tucker is in right. The infield from left to right, Alex Bregman, Jeremy Pena. Now, Ledmus Diaz is at second base. No Jose Altuve. Yuli Gurriel is at first doing the catching. The familiar Martin Maldonado. And for Altuve, perhaps better than expected for the Astros concerning him. He was moving around in the locker room, a strained hamstring, so who knows, not playing tonight. We'll see about tomorrow, but at least it's not long-term, it appears. Goop.
Yeah, Michael Brantley making his 900th career start in left field, 55 outfield assists. 9 errors. I mean, there's 10 errors in 900 career games out in left field. He's a solid defender in left field. We know how he can hit, but also solid defensively.
I know you ran into Michael in the lobby of the hotel earlier, and actually you know his father quite well. He doesn't like you, though, apparently. Mickey Brantley only 1 for 14 versus you in his career.
Yeah, it's one of those things, too. They weren't comfortable at bats for me, even though I look at the numbers. Yeah, they favored me, but he was always a threat to hit the ball 8,000 miles. He was strong.
5 strikeouts against Mickey Brantley. Michael trying to take it out on the Angels. Very nice. He's got 100 career hits versus the Halos. So here's Shohei Ohtani versus Framber Valdez. Has not seen the ball very well versus Framber, as Martin Maldonado has a little chat with his former teammate.
He's probably saying, you know, I'm going to have him throw you a nice fastball, have it right down the middle of the plate for your first pitch. You think he said that?
Just to deke him, probably. We saw him last night kicking some dirt on him. He's always having fun. Ohtani just 2 for 18 in his career versus Valdez. Takes strike 1. We're underway here at Minute Maid Park. Great to have you along board. Mark Guba's Patrick O'Neill, Erica Weston down on the field. Downstairs 1-1.
Boy, it really turns over that two-seam fastball. 95. Kind of like exact Britton. He's had fantastic years with Baltimore and the Yankees. Bouncing back from an elbow injury, but a devastating sinking fastball. Heavy sink to it.
Misses. 2-1. Shift is on here for Ohtani. Without Trout, you know, the question is the protection. And certainly without Trout and Rendon for most of last year, what pitches is he going to see? That's a called
Shohei
strike.
gets so many pitches called strikes against him that aren't in his zone. Shohei, at some point, might have to question the home plate umpire. Even though he's a pitcher, you don't want to do that too often because you want those pitches yourself. But that ball is off the plate.
Ryan Willis behind the plate here tonight, calling the balls and strikes. The 2-2. Ohtani straight away center field. Chas McCormick is there for out number 1.
In our Hyundai key for the game tonight, going on Bradley Gilbert, little country music, bottoms up. So he throws a lot of pitches at the bottom of the strike zone. You got to try to bring them up and hit the ball in the air. He is a ground ball specialist. 73.9% ground ball rate this year, 70.4% last year. So you got to get the bottom of the zone and lift it up in the air.
Taylor Ward steps in. That was close, doesn't get the call. So, or Valdez doesn't, Taylor does. Those ground ball percentage rates are insane.
But that's a good swing by Shohei. That's a curveball. He hit hard to center field, but he lifted that baseball up, wasn't in pull mode. Good swing for Shohei.
Ward hitless on the night last night. Swings at that one. And Yuli Gurriel is there for out number 2. That brings up Anthony Rendon. Houston native, Lamar High School. Grew up on the south side of Houston, the southwest side of Houston. Really 6 miles away was Lamar High School. Rice University about 5 miles away. Sleeping in his own bed. Just puts up prolific numbers in this ballpark as well. As a visitor, I think we all remember Game 6 and 7 in the 2019 World Series.
Yeah, tremendous numbers. You think, okay, you're a Houston native and you're doing that to your team you watched growing up as a national. Big moment guy, Anthony Rendon.
Missed last night's game with a stomach bug. So missed the past 2 games. Joe Maddon's going to work in some off days, Gooby, for Rendon coming off that hip surgery. 1-0 from Valdez. Right up the middle. Base hit. Easy swing. 2-out knock for Rendon.
Pretty good swings using the whole field non-pull mode. Line drive up the middle, Rendon. Well hit fly ball to center field by Ohtani. Hard hit ball to first base by Taylor Ward. So some good approaches against Framber Valdez early.
They hit that one hard. Exit velo at 106. cleanup batter here tonight is Matt Duffy. As a starter, Duffy is 7 for 16 on the season. Takes that curveball, ball 1.
Been pretty good against left-handed pitching. 5 for 12, that's 417. 2 for 3 in his career versus Valdez. Straight up the defense against Duffy gives you a pretty good indication how well he hits the ball to all fields.
2 outs, 1-0, 1-1. Back to your point about Ohtani and not getting the calls, and I think that has been an area of frustration for Joe Madden and his club about some of the calls that have gone against his team early in the season. It's early, but it has been evident. There's been a lot of strikeouts and a lot of strike calls against this team that have been borderline. 1-1. Ground ball. Diaz is over. And Framber Valdez strands a runner. No score. Bottom half coming. Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman, and Yordan Alvarez DHing, hitting cleanup. Yuli Gurriel at first, Kyle Tucker in right, Aledmus Diaz at second base, Chaz McCormick in center field, and Martin Maldonado is doing the catching. And here's Patrick Sandoval, former Astros product, 11th round pick in 2015, Mission Viejo High School. Third career start here at Minute Maid Park. What does he have to do, Gooby?
Well, just got to control his emotion. My go-tos for Patrick Sandoval to have a solid game. You're going to need to have that against this Astro lineup. Is you got to be able to use his changeup as an out pitch. A lot of times you think a changeup is to get ahead of the count, soft contact, but he uses that as an out pitch, a swing and miss, and control your emotions early. He's had a tough time against the Astros in his career because he's amped up. He wants to prove them wrong. Moving him in a trade, although he gets to go back to his hometown team with the Angels. He's just got to slow the game down, be competitive, but don't overthrow.
Angels acquired Sandoval for Martin Maldonado. It's Jeremy Pena leading off, who's off to a tremendous start. Taking over for Carlos Correa at shortstop here in Houston. First pitch swing, a foul ball. The roof is closed once again here tonight, Gooby. Happy Gooby Tuesday, by the way, pal.
Yeah, breezy out today. Really windy.
Yeah, it really was. Some sort of mechanical issues causing the roof to be closed the first 2 nights of this series. I swear I had nothing to do with it.
Are you sure about that, Patrick?
I'm pretty sure. Defense playing. Pena straight up. 0-1. Sandoval gets ahead of Pena. 0-2. Sellout crowd last night for the home opener. Quite sellout here tonight. Still a good crowd. School night.
Okay, young hitter at the plate. 0-2 count. You have 2 options if you're Sandoval. Either you go that really good tight slider down and in the dirt, or to fade that changeup away. It should be a non-strike.
Just gets a piece.
Yeah, the only reason why you got a piece of that changeup because it was up a little bit. If it's down, a very tough one to make contact, but still not a bad spot. Just a little bit higher than he wanted to. You see the target being set by Kurt Suzuki. Off the plate with that good movement on there, going fade down and away.
Does he go right back to it? Oh, he got him. A beauty. 1 down.
Well, he went right back to it, and even better with a good adjustment and a good target by Kurt Suzuki. Wants to have that down. See how he's going lower third, below the strike zone, hits the target. Perfect spot. Not afraid to go back to back with the changeup. He has that kind of feel for that pitch.
So with Michael Brantley coming up, Andrew Velasquez shifts over to rover position, short right field. Anthony Rendon all by himself, left side of the infield here. It's ball 1 to Michael Brantley. Takes a strike. It's going to be important to play near perfect baseball when you face off against this Houston Astros team. Pitching, defense. Last night, the Astros did it in both ways. They did it with the long ball, and they played small ball as well to get it done in an 8-3 victory. 1-1.
It's that tight slider that Sandoval has. Last year, his whiff percentage, 38.3% with his slider. We talked a lot about his changeup, but that's very impressive, too. This is a 188 batting average against his slider last season.
Top whip percentage last year. AL starters, minimum 10 starts. He was 4th best.
I mean, there's some impressive names in that list. Patrick Sandoval. I thought he made that leap forward to be a top of the rotation guy. Kind of like Glasnow, now in the IL, but devastating stuff. The Biebs, Dylan Cease throws upper 90s with a wipeout breaking ball. Carlos Rodon, nasty slider.
Fouled away left side, so count runs full here on Brantley. It's just something about Brantley when he's up there. He's just so calm. And he has so much room on the left side. He sees it. Good job with a knock last night as well to beat this shift. Here's the 3-2. Oh, beauty. Got him. 2 strikeouts for Patty Sandoval.
I love that left-on-left changeup. You can't hit this ball the other way if you make contact, but you got to have a lot of comfort and confidence to throw a changeup as a left-handed pitcher or a left-handed batter. That's a perfect spot. Hit the baseball well, straight down. 2 strikeouts with his changeup.
By all appearances, that's that fastball. And then it just drops. Sandoval is on. That brings up Alex Bregman. Strike 1. Shift on the left side now for Bregman. He broke out of a slump, mini slump for him. He was hitless in 4 straight games coming into last night, but had a big game. 2 down. Here's the 0-1. Sandoval will like a check, but over there at first base is Jerry Meals, says no swing.
Yeah, he held up pretty strong. He opened up his hip, but he kept his hands back. Smiled down there, Jerry Meals, and said, I didn't go, right?
One popped up. Jack Mayfield is under it. And a great start for Patrick Sandoval. No score. We head to the top of the second.
Angels made a roster move before the game today. Kenny Rosenberg optioned to AAA Salt Lake. Andrew Wantz has been recalled, but not before Kenny Rosenberg made his major league debut in the game last night. An inning of relief out of the bullpen, 2 punch-outs in his major league debut. I had a chance to catch up with him before the game today. He told me he felt like the wait was so long. It was such a relief to finally get that moment. His family was all in town. They were here to witness it. His mom, his dad, his wife, her parents were here as well, getting a chance to take in his major league debut. Here's a look at his outing last night. He said he was pretty amped up. 2 punch-outs. I asked him if the cherry on top of his outing was the strikeout to Alvarez. He told me, I was just glad to get 3 outs. He also said, I don't normally hear the crowd, but oh, you better believe I heard it last night. So welcome to the show, Kenny Rosenberg.
It was awesome to see Erica, no doubt about it. Also chatted with him briefly. You know, Mark, he said that it felt like, so what does it feel like? You know, your MLB debut is a packed house. He said it felt like nothing, like he could not almost feel himself out there. And Jack Mayfield right back to Valdez. And look what I got. Out number 1.
Yeah, it's interesting he said he actually heard the crowd. You remember the movie For the Love of the Game?
Oh, yeah.
Billy Chappell saying clear the mechanism, where you just all of a sudden you don't hear the crowd anymore. Well, sometimes when you make that debut after thinking, am I ever going to get this opportunity to pitch in the major leagues? Sometimes the moment is pretty big, but yet he came in and did a pretty solid job getting 2 strikeouts. Congrats to Kenny on that.
Going to head back to AAA. He was stretched out to 4+ innings as a starter with the Bees. Andrew Wantz is up, as Erica mentioned. Now here is Kurt Suzuki doing the catching here tonight for Patrick Sandoval. Oh man, that curveball, it's just so good. You look at Valdez, he's 5'11". You guess what he comes in at, Gooby?
Just looking at his shoulders alone, I'm guessing he's got to be about 210. The shoulders itself.
They have him listed at 239.
Wow. Well, the Houston Texans may use him for short yardage.
No, you look at, upper body strength that we saw Michael Lorenzen last night. See these guys square off in the weight room. And just misses to Suzuki, 2-1. I had a little conversation, you saw me chatting with Lorenzen. What a nice guy, about his performance last night. And, my first question was, how big are your buys? I mean, I can't believe it sometimes, the things and he said, I don't know. Line drive right field, foul. 2-2.
Boy, that's a good swing on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Good overall numbers, too, for Suzuki against Valdez. 3 for 6. Trying to get a double right down the right field line.
Do I finish my Lorenzen bicep story, or do I leave it? No,
I can drop it. You can give it a shot.
So he said he doesn't know, the size, but he always wanted to get buys in on a leg day. There's always about the buys, but he holds the Cal State Fullerton record for pull-ups, 38. Okay, I'm done. All right, 3-2.
38 pull-ups. That might take me about a month to do that.
He was happy with his stuff. He's just going to work some things out. Lorenzen, he says from the windup, no problem. It was the stretch that was causing him a little issues. He thought that was interesting. Look forward to seeing him back out on the bump. Now 3-2 to Suzuki. Oh, nice job. Draws that walk.
Yeah, the big thing when he said, and it made sense, Patrick, as a reliever, he was always pitching out of the stretch.
Yeah.
So now as a starter, he's more comfortable in the full windup. And now not as comfortable out of the stretch, because that's what he was doing all the time before. So it'll take a little bit of time. But overall, his stuff was great. I think, Joe Madden even told us earlier, he goes, he was really happy with his stuff. There's just a few things overthrown here and there, especially from the stretch position in that last inning he pitched. But he'll make that adjustment. Stuff is there, and he felt great today, which is a good sign for 2 starts already in the season.
No doubt. Here is Joe Adell. Take strike 1.
For me today, Patrick, this is the guy that I think has to have a big game. Right here, Joe Adell. And I think he's going to have a really good game today. Just feel it.
Man, I feel the same thing. Not reading that one. 0-2. I think he's looking curveball there, and he's taking those fastballs down the middle.
Surprising, but you have to respect his curveball. But a lot of times, first pitch, if he throws a curveball, Valdez, it's in the strike zone. That's a more hittable curveball than the one he is now. And it's almost automatic with 2 strikes. He will throw his curveball. You can almost feel this curveball is coming. The only other pitch he might throw is a high fastball, but a curveball more than likely.
Fouled away.
Let's take a look at our Frontier play sense. Last night, both Brandon Marsh and Joe Adell losing their hand on the follow-through of a swing. You see this with Brandon Marsh, loses that grip of the bat, hand underneath, lose it at bat, went all the way up into the screen. And then Joe Adell last night, same thing. He's unable to keep that hand on there, the bottom hand for Joe Adell. So both of them losing the grip, unable to make that good, consistent contact. Keep that grip together today, be consistent.
Well, ground ball, fair, down the line. Suzuki going to third, Adell digging for second. Nevin is going to hold up Suzuki, so a 1-out double. Runners at second and third. Something going on here for the Halos.
Kept both hands on the bat and rocketed that by Alex Bregman. Never easy to do that. Curveball, flattened, middle of the plate, turned on it. It's good to see that. Joe Adell. Rocket down in the corner. Really tough to score all the way from first base in this ballpark. Even though as a left fielder and right fielders, they play more to the gap in their outfield, so there's room down the line, but still, it's not real far or real deep way to take a shot. Now it's up to Captain Caveman.
Flo, I was going to go. You got Joe and Flo. Let's see what Brandon Marsh can do here. 1 down, runners in scoring position. First pitch swinging. over to Brantley. Suzuki's going to tag. Adell's got to get back to second. He does. That ball gets away. Adell's going to hold up there, but the Angels get a run on a sac fly from Brandon Marsh. Suzuki scores. It's 1-0.
Well, that was real fortunate, because Brantley was right on that. If Ed's able to catch that ball, it's going to be a double up, and the run is not going to score.
I know.
Fortunate. Joe didn't really quite read that as well. Off the bat, again, you look at normally a baseball hit like that in the gap, it's going to fall in, but the Astros bunched the outfielders together, so they're right there to be able to make that play. Good swing, good job, execution there, getting the run home. But fortunate that play was not scooped by Diaz at second.
Yeah, good hustle by Suzuki, but you're right. He was going to be out. That was going to be the end of the inning. Well, that would have been dreadful.
This is a young player thinking, okay, the baseball left center field, right center field, it's got to be in there. But no, not the way they play defense for the Astros.
So let's just see how close. Brantley just fires it in, heads up baseball. He was going to be out by a mile. Diaz just trying to play first. He's done that. Unable to make the scoop. Fortunate for the Angels. Andrew Velasquez now up.
Patrick, I don't think he had a stretch like that. I think that throw was going to come right at him as an infielder. He's played some first, he's played second, he's played third, he's played all the infield positions. He almost was like a first baseman reaching out. He could have stayed back and keep his legs closer, and he had plenty of time to scoop that and get the out at second.
No, you're right. Didn't need to stretch. He had Adell just catch that on that bounce, and very lucky for the Angels. So we'll credit Marsh with the ribby. Now Velasquez with Shohei Ohtani on deck. Should be a big knock for him. Last night, a lot of questions about that 7th inning. Runners in at second and third after Wade had that bunt down after the first 2 singles. With 1 out, Velasquez bunted right back to the pitcher. And then with the bases loaded, of course, they walked Ohtani. And then Ward flew out, and that ended the threat. It was only 5-3 at that point. And then Alvarez hits the 2-run home run, and that game got broken open. But that was the key play in the game.
Yep. New day, new opportunity. Runner in scoring position. Some pretty good arms in the outfield for the Astros. But Phil Nevin, if there's a base hit in the outfield, he will be aggressive, even with Shohei on deck with 2 outs. Lefty versus lefty.
1-2. I want to wear that next time. I'll gladly take that. I'm just saying, I'm strictly speaking of myself. Velasquez is like, I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to drive in Adell here to make it 2-0. Adell at second, 2-2, 2 out. Here in the second, and Velasquez strikes out to end the inning, but the Angels score 1. It's 1-0. The second, Joe Adell, after a nice walk from Suzuki, doubles. You have runners at second and third. Marsh hits that line drive, and Gooby, he got away with a mistake.
Yeah, he's anticipating, because that baseball was hit hard in left center field with a lefty up. He's got a good chance to have that ball down. And Benji Gill, as he's walking towards the dugout, is explaining to him that's the way the defense is set up for the Astros. It's been that way for the last couple of seasons. You got to read it off the bat, make sure that ball is down or caught. You got to stay close enough to second base, because the guy at third is the most important one. With your speed, you can still score from second base if Brantley's unable to make the play.
Yordan Alvarez, first pitch, swinging. Oh, he almost hit the roof in the building, pops it up. Out number 1. Thank goodness. Velasquez is way over on the shift. That he's been doing that the entire series so far. He's going to rack up a lot of steps on that watch.
Yeah, we see that with David Fletcher when he's playing shortstop this year, how far into right field he's playing as a shortstop. Velasquez, the same thing. Saw the San Diego Padres. Manny Machado is the one that plays that deep right field. I saw him catch the ball almost towards the warning track one time.
One of the greatest catches ever. Oh, that one's hit. Gurriel, Joe Adell is back, leaps up, unable to make the catch. Gurriel into second base. And he's been struggling. It's his 4th double. But still looking for his first RBI, but seems like first 2 batters attacking early on Sandoval.
Yeah, especially when you're struggling like Gurriel, you're going to be ready on the first pitch because you don't want to deal with the changeup. And like we said back in At the big A, the Astros, especially early against a pitcher, they swing at the first pitch, and then it changes as the game progresses.
You know, Mark, that's that Death Valley out there in that corner, just to the left or right, depending on which way you're looking at it, of the Crawford boxes, and it looked like Adele, a little uncertainty going back into that corner, wasn't sure where that wall was.
Remember, he got hurt last year running in that corner of that Crawford boxes into the wall in left field, left center last year.
That's right.
So it's got to be in your mind.
It's Kyle Tucker. We found out, right, these two were, nice pitch, were former teammates together.
Drafted together. And you would think they're friends, but if I'm Patrick Sandoval, I'm not thinking I'm real good friends with Kyle Tucker.
See his numbers?
4 for 6 against him with a couple home runs.
Really spotted that first pitch, though. It was tough for Tucker to get a swing on it now. What's he go to? 0-1.
Try to tie him up inside. Tucker didn't give away any of that. So far this season, versus four-seam fastball, 3 hits allowed. This is strike percentage. It's under 40% at 39. The other pitches, though, no hits allowed, 58%. They're going with a pitch comp, it looks like here. Now it looks like they have to go through signs because it's not clear to him, so to go the conventional way. It's on his shin guard, his right shin guard, pitch comp.
God, I just find it so fascinating. Sandoval was clearly unable to make out what that call was, so it worked out there. 1-2. Runner on second base, and when I talked to Velasquez, you know, about wearing it, so he's trying to listen to it, trying to get it to her. So Velasquez will have it also.
I think that's a great spot to put it to. So Kurt Suzuki could put his catcher's mitt over so that he can't even see it, which eventually you're going to figure out which button you're pushing.
The Astros will figure it out. 1-2. Line drive, foul. So it's up to 3 infielders that can have that little device in their hat where you can hear what the pitch call is. Fastball down, fastball away. Well, for Sandoval, let's go to that changeup as much as possible, or that filthy slider. Maybe Brandon Marsh and maybe Rendon.
Usually it's at the very least the middle infield that they have a pretty good idea where to go, and it's important, especially for Andrew Velasquez, where he's at. All right, so most times if he has an idea that maybe it's a changeup, there's a good chance, or a breaking ball can come his way. Fastball, more than likely, you got to be thinking if you're Jack Mayfield, there's a chance it's going your way.
And Velasquez says to the other fielders that don't have that device in their hat, he can signal and let them know, you know, what it is and the location. We do know it's 1-2 with Gurriel at second base, 1 down.
Wow, he overthrew the fastball there. And Suzuki was in position to try to frame that fastball the outside part of the plate, so his glove was turned the one way, and then that movement off, he caught it that way. Fortunately enough, he was able to keep it in his glove. That's a tough one to keep in your glove, especially the way he tried to catch it.
You brought this up early, the emotions, the competitiveness of Patrick Sandoval, which you love, and how he handles situations like this. Could use a strikeout here, 2-2. Fouled, hit well.
Another lefty on lefty changeup out in front.
Souvenir for the fan. You know, it can get loud here. They'll pump in some noise as well. Roof closed. And that's what the issues can be with being able to pick up what the calls are. Two to Kyle Tucker.
Patrick, I'll be honest with you. Part of the reason there's 2 reasons for the pitch comp. 1, pace of play. 2, you're taking away the potential for stealing signs, but this is a little bit longer in between pitches. for Patrick Sandoval. You see him putting a hand over by so he can hear it better. So it's kind of slowing him down, I think, more than he normally would be if you're just going through regular signs.
First time, you know, my point exactly I made when I first saw it, where I thought, wow, if it gets too loud, can it slow it down? But it's good for the game, you know. But starting to see that if it gets really loud, and it will, it's going to be tough to hear. 2-2. Count is full.
Well, he hadn't thrown a changeup to a left-handed batter in that last start at all. He's thrown to quite a few of them already today.
But think about it.
3 to Tucker today.
You know, Mark, if that's you and you're trying to hear like some quarterback, you know, at your Green Bay, like Tom Brady, you can't hear that. It'll be tough.
It is, because and it gets you frustrated. That's what you don't want to have happen to you on the mound. You want to be free and easy and confident.
Got him. What a big at-bat, big strikeout for Sandoval. 2 down.
Change piece again. All those changeup in that sequence against a guy who's had great success. How much movement that is. Now, we're going to show something a little bit later as far as spin rate on Valdez's curveballs compared to the changeup. Even though that movement, there's not a ton of spin on it, you can almost see the seams going. So you're thinking fastball, and then boom, bottom drops out.
1646 spin rate on that changeup. That was a 9-pitch at bat.
And put it in perspective, Valdez's curveball is a little over 2,700 RPM spin rate. But they're different pitches.
Right.
Changeups, you want to have a less spin. Curveball, obviously, the more better, especially going through the zone and the way late break to it.
Great break to that changeup from Sandoval to Tucker. Ledmus Diaz now. 2 down. Gurriel at second base. Fly ball. Marsh coming in. Mayfield going back. And Sandoval gets out of it. Stranding. That double from Gurriel. When we come back, leading off, Shohei Ohtani. Can he get to Framber Valdez? You're going to find out. Angels leading the Astros 1-0, leading off. Shohei Ohtani. Try to find an award that he didn't win last year. You can't. Try to find a category that he wasn't in the top 5 in the American League or the entire all of baseball. You really can't. That's offensively, and then what he did on the hill. Yet to get going, you know, pitching-wise, but we'll see how he does tomorrow when he takes the ball in the 3rd game of this series.
I liked his swing at first at bat against Valdez. Line drive was caught in center, but stayed back, didn't fly open, keep the front hip in long enough.
Ohtani with that 8-game hitting streak. You noticing pitch calm with Maldonado and Valdez?
Don't notice it for those two.
No.
But I do love the idea of it. I really do. And I think it's going to really help out going forward. You're seeing he's going to go through the conventional signs.
I saw that little thing that he did with his,
maybe he did.
And I didn't know what that was there when it's the right knee pad.
Yeah, he looks like he has it there.
But he goes through the signs, then there's something right. Yeah, there's, oh, so he's, all right, so he's typing it in. I'll figure out the vernacular eventually.
So it's more of a magnet on his
interesting
shin guard.
2-2. All right, full count.
So you see some catchers have it on the wrist, some on the shin guard, but Maldonado has it, brings it down so you still can't see where the buttons he's touching, and then puts it back on the shin guard.
Clever. Halos might want to emulate that. 3-2. All right. Ohtani draws the walk. Lead off walk. That'll bite you 62.3% of the time. Sounds about.
It's been part of his game already this year, though. Been some walks. Coming in the game 6, a couple today. one scoring. And Kurt Suzuki.
Here's Taylor Ward. This is the third start of the year for Valdez. He was excellent in the opener versus the Angels. Pitched in Arizona, no decision. Didn't have the feel or the command for his fastball, but very dry there. So good moment here for the Halos with Ohtani at first after the walk, and here's Taylor Ward.
So it gives him 8 walks in 11 2/3 pitched so far this year for Framber Valdez. Thrown 10 curveballs and 4 for strikes. Well, when you don't give up a lot of home runs, which he doesn't, even with traffic on the bases, he feels comfortable getting through with a double play ball. So that's why you have to try to lift some of those lower pitches in the air, or at the very least, go the other way.
Two and one. That's 70% ground ball percentage last season. That's incredible. That is the lowest in MLB history. Started tracking back when you were on the hill in 1987.
And when you pitch a lot of your games in this ballpark, it's a good idea to be a ground ball pitcher.
Right, 2-2. You were a sinker baller. You got a lot of ground balls. What do you think your best year ground ball percentage was, if you were to guess?
48. I'm guessing 48%.
Right. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
That's my average in 10th grade chemistry. Foul ball.
I always felt the same thing, and I'm sure Valdez does too, that I'm always one pitch away from 2 outs. Whether I have a ground ball single or an occasional walk, as long as you don't give up home runs, you always feel you have a chance to keep your team in the game. With that being said, as a hitter, a lot of times against a pitcher like Valdez, you track the lower third of the strike zone. If he beats you upstairs with a fastball, so be it. Otherwise, train your eyes lower third.
See what's coming here. 2-2. Checking on Ohtani. You know, since the fans demand to know, your best ground ball percentage was 55.4 in 1989. You were an all-star that year. You threw 255 innings. So take the over. I should have taken the over, really.
Wow, I can't believe anybody knew that one. That's incredible.
We have everything. I mean, when you would pitch in Yankee Stadium, they knew your middle name, your
my
mother's
mom's maiden name. Yeah, oh yeah.
2-2. Ground ball. And Bregman over to second, over to first, double play. Brings up Anthony Rendon with 2 down.
Well, that fastball, you see the frustration right away by Taylor Ward. He knew once he hit that ball on the ground, that was a fastball, middle of the plate. If he stays back, because he's so good using the middle of the field, he can rocket that ball up the middle, even though he hit that well. But if you hit that ball and you pull the ball, there's a good chance it's going to be on that left side with that defense they have. It's going to be at a glove.
2 down. Here's Anthony Rendon, Houston native. A 2-out single back in the first. Missed the past couple of games. Off day Sunday. Stomach bug last night. Swing and a miss. 7 career regular season games for Rendon here at Minute Maid. 404 average.
Good numbers against Valdez. 5 for 13 coming in the game with a home run. There's times when you see a swing like that from Anthony Rendon. No contact, but he's setting them up.
It's a little ground ball. Bregman coming in. Throws across for the 3rd out of the inning. So we got a 1-0 game here at Minute Maid.
Out of the hand, both lefties, and look exactly where the baseball ends up. Changeup for Sandoval, curveball for Valdez. Look at that changeup, middle of the plate, then drops. great view we had on our StatCast 3D, how it starts the same plane and the drop, same spot. But yeah, different spin. And we're going to talk about that as we go along too. But that same exact arm angle, same pitch almost, except one's a curve, one's a change. And the difference as they get to the plate as far as a curveball and a changeup. It's amazing.
Awesome. That 3D was awesome. What do you think is more difficult for a hitter to hit between those two pitches?
I still think the changeup is the most underrated pitch in the game.
Right. Chas McCormick leading off, bottom of the third, 1-0 Angels. That was a pitch that you didn't work into your arsenal until like 6 years into your career.
Yeah. And that was all just having a conversation with a fellow pitcher, Mike Magnanti, showing me a different grip.
How do you think when you developed a changeup, how did it change your approach on the hill?
It made my fastball better because there's a separation. Because now they're reading fastball as a hitter. That's what you're seeing with, you know, Patrick Sandoval. Hitters got to respect his fastball because he's 93 to 95, even 96. So you got to respect that velocity, same arm angle, and a very different, very similar spin. And then it's going to end up being an out.
That's a base hit from McCormick to lead off the third.
And when you look at the difference between the spin rate of Sandoval's changeup, look how slow it's at 1582. That's the average on his changeup as compared to his curveball for Valdez at 2870 RPM. So that's quickly going through the zone, and the seams in the rotation of baseball going a lot slower. Look at that huge separation, but still we showed the exact same comparison where they were coming in the strike zone and below. Similar results between a strikeout and non-contact on both those devastating pitches.
So McCormick with that single brings up Martin Maldonado. These two were traded for one another. You know, Maldonado executed a bunt last night to perfection. That was that small ball that Dusty Baker played. He played it a run. So he can find a way to beat you despite that low average early to start this year.
So far this year for Sandoval, not a high ground ball rate, just 11.1%. But you go back to last year when he really improved on all his pitches, he had a little over 51% ground ball rate. No ground balls yet. But it's the time to get that ground ball with Maldonado at the plate. Good chance to get a double play ball.
It was just the second hit of the night for the Astros. First time through here for Sandoval, looking for that double play. Outside. Go back. The connection between the two, traded for each other, as I mentioned. 11th round pick by the Astros in 15, 4 seasons in the minors, and then back in 2018 the Angels sent Maldonado to Houston. The left-hander Patrick Sandoval, the local lad, Mission Viejo High School, comes home.
Played football at Mission Viejo High School.
Checking on McCormick. What position did he play?
I know he did some punting and kicking. I know that. As big as he is, played some receiving, tight end, receiver. Going that punting route.
Yeah, you don't want to get him hit.
Going Darren Erstad, University of Nebraska.
That's right. Now McCormick goes. Suzuki throws down. Good throw. Did he get him? He did. Perfect throw.
Money on the throw for Kurt Suzuki. Not easy to steal against Patrick Sandoval. Doesn't have a pickoff yet in his career, but he's quick to the plate. Good pitch to throw and right on the target. Quick tag by Jack Mayfield. Big out. See that reaction by Sandoval all on that throw for Zook, as his guys like to call him in the clubhouse.
He was all fired up tonight for this start in the clubhouse before the game. Now 3-2 to Maldonado, back with the fastball, 94. That was a big out. You have 3-2 to Maldonado, who knows the arsenal of Sandoval very well. You know what he's expecting. Line drive, off the mound, but Jack Mayfield is there. It's an easy out, 2 down.
Sometimes off the pitching mound, you never really know which way it's going to redirect. Even though the defense was set up perfectly on that one. This play by Mayfield involved in a couple outs already in this inning. One on a tag from Kurt Suzuki, and that one off the mound. Pena really good on the first pitch, so it's important to make a good pitch here for Patrick Sandoval. He's 4 for 9 coming into the game with a home run on the first pitch.
Pena leading off tonight. No Jose Altuve. Very close, doesn't get the call. Looked like it caught a piece.
That was a real good pitch. Good changeup. Start the at-bat. Important when a guy has a lot of success on the first pitch, especially against fastballs first pitch.
Pena struck out swinging back in the first. 1-1. One and two. Sandoval starting to get the feel.
Might have got that pitch. First pitch. Didn't get. That one he got.
Bounces that in, 2-2. Angels got their run in the second inning. RBI by Brandon Marsh. Halos were fortunate on the play. Adele nearly doubled off second base. 2-2. Ground ball, foul.
Now that's just the contact you want on your changeup. If you're going to have contact, soft contact out in front, try to pull it.
In on the hands.
Catcher's interference on the mitt. It ends up being an E2.
Called
fastball,
right away. Yep.
Yeah, fastball 95. You see that? Talk about a late swing. That's why that happened, because he was looking changeup, got the express at 95. See that more often now in the game because catchers are trying to presentation, catch that pitch out in front, give their pitcher a chance and a catcher to steal a strike every once in a while.
All right, so now it's Michael Brantley takes a strike. If you're the catcher, it can't feel too good to have the bat hit your glove.
Your fingers and your wrist, because there's a lot of bat speed involved in that too.
1-1, just missed. Suzuki playing a part of this inning. Threw out McCormick trying to steal. And picks up an error in the catcher's interference. Brantley 0 for 1, struck out in the first. Velasquez playing deep in the shift in right field.
You'll notice it in this spot with a man on first, not a guy at second. But Suzuki going the conventional way as far as giving a sign. He has those stickers on the fingernails to be able to allow Sandoval to see the signs much easier.
3-1. Sandoval, he wears his emotions right on his sleeve. So maybe they decided just to do away with the pitch calm here tonight. So there's a walk. We have first and second here with 2 outs. So get your red on. Join us at the Big A during every Angels home game in 2022 with season seats. For more information on becoming a season seat holder, call 888-796-HALO or visit angels.com/season seats. Well, never mind. They're right back to the pitch calm with the runner at second base. So that's when they go to it.
Big moment in the game.
Alex Bregman popped up to end the first. Two and 0, first and second, 2 outs. Sandoval looked to be cruising here in the inning, especially after Suzuki threw out McCormick. Had 2 strikes on Pena. Catcher's interference, and then a walk to Brantley.
This goes back to controlling the emotions now, Patrick. Controlling the emotions. Know that you still have quality pitches to get a very good hitter out here.
5 of his last 6 pitches, balls since the catcher's interference. Here's 2-0. 6-7. Yordan Alvarez waits on deck.
Like Mike Trout, Alex Bregman doesn't swing often. 3-0. But you better make a good pitch here if you're Sandoval.
And he takes a strike. Bregman didn't like the call.
Gets the lower part of the strike zone. 93-mile-an-hour fastball all over the strike zone.
All right, partner.
No change up here.
Bregman, line drive left field. That's going to get to the wall. That's going to score 1. We're tied at 1. Bregman, 2-out double. Pena scores. Now runner second and third with Alvarez coming up.
Would have stayed hard to the plate. He was quick. He's in a spot where he's looking for his zone.
Matt Wise out. Have a chat with his starter. Went to that fastball there, full count. Or 3-1 count, excuse me. Well, Gooby, with some performance for Yordan Alvarez. Multi-homer game, the 9th of his career. That was the first 2-run shot. Here's the second.
Yeah, hit a break a ball out and then a fastball out. That's now the 7th RBI already this season for Alex Bregman against the Angels.
Former Rookie of the Year, Yordan Alvarez, just in beast mode. Got a base open here, Gooby. There was a situation last night with a base open with Alvarez when he came up, right, with Archie Bradley on the hill and chose to pitch to him.
I think it's a little different, lefty on lefty.
Sure.
Gurriel, who had a good swing against Sandoval the first at bat.
Strike. 1-1.
Well, those are pretty good power numbers. 2 for 8 in his career for Alvarez, but both of those hits were home runs against Sandoval.
Note from the Astros, Alvarez, third most multi-homer games, 9, in a player's first 250 games in MLB history. Behind only Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres. They each had 10. Tied at 1. 1-1. That's a fly ball. Joe Adell is under it. The crowd had all the oohs and the ahs, but Sandoval gets out of it. Astros 4-1. We're tied up. That's presented by Chevy. And Gooby, the Angels offense has been clicking on all cylinders to start this season. Home runs 16 first, 35 extra base hits first, slugging, OPS, and how about that? 4.7 runs per game.
Well, we thought that was going to be the case, what we saw in a number of spring training games. It started off a little bit slow, but it's picked up some momentum here on this trip to Texas, with starting Arlington down here to Houston.
So here's Matt Duffy to lead off the top of the 4th. How about expected slugging percentage? Even higher than the actual slugging percentage. That's based on contact quality, exit velo, launch angle.
So in other words, the defense had to make some good, really solid plays. Otherwise, that slugging percentage went up even higher. You just keep that same approach at the plate. Very important to see how the offense responds here.
3-0 here to Valdez. I mean, to Duffy from Valdez.
A lot of times I'm always a believer in green light 3-0, but Matt Duffy's a line drive hitter. You think of 3-0, you want a guy that can lift and get it out of the ballpark.
He takes ball 4, leadoff walk. Thank you very much. So Sandoval gets out of a serious jam. I mean, he had 28 pitches in that 3rd inning. He had 26 combined in the first 2. I know I'm not the only one that breathed a sigh of relief that he got out of that one.
Especially with Alvarez at the plate. Fly ball, lazy fly ball. Ends up being an unearned run for Sandoval. Doesn't matter, it's a run though, so you gotta get the offense going.
Here's Jack Mayfield, former Astro. Made this Angels opening day roster. Second time he's done that. First time was with the Astros, 2020.
Now, Jack Mayfield doesn't bunt a lot, but he could, if he wanted to, he could push bunt one to the right side. Valdez, a left-handed pitcher, falls to the third base side of the mound. A lot of room right side.
Swing and a miss.
And we normally don't say that a lot about bunting, but there's a lot of guys on this team for the Angels that have been bunting quite a bit. And they've been working on that a lot.
Well, last night was an example in that 7th inning, that's for sure. 0-2 side.
See that too often. The 2-strike pitch, although a changeup usually almost automatically goes to his curveball. Gotta believe he's getting a curveball now.
Duffy at first. Line drive, right field. It's down. Duffy going to third. Kicks off the wall. Mayfield into second. The throw. Got him. Kyle Tucker has an absolute cannon. What a throw. What a play.
And you can't blame Jack Mayfield for being aggressive. That's just an outstanding play by Kyle Tucker. He knows his field, home field advantage. He knows the kind of direction you're going to get off that short wall in right field. This is a good swing for the Captain Jack. Plays the Karen perfectly. He's already turning his body, and a throw right on the money.
That's as good as it gets.
Kind of reminds you of a throw like a Vladimir Guerrero Sr. when he was with the Angels, throwing that hard throw from right field.
What a play. Wow.
Infield in now for Kurt Suzuki.
So one away, tied at 1. Suzuki walked back in that second and scored the Angels' only run. And what a big play there. Mayfield did extend his hitting streak to 13 games, carrying over from last year, 7 to start this season. One and one.
Well, you're really seeing Valdez forcing every pitch at the lower third. He's trying to get Kurt Suzuki to hit the ball on the ground. Kurt's trying to look for something that he can hit in the air.
Misses inside. Would Duffy be going on contact? We saw last night Stassi thrown out the plate, little ground ball to Bregman. That infield in.
I think you got to force him to make a throw. I mean, you look at overall percentages of success on a contact play, they're pretty high. Even Joe Adell, though, on deck with a double first at bat, might change the thought.
3-1. That's such a huge run out there right now. Especially against this Houston team that rarely makes any mistakes. Got to capitalize. 3-1.
He's walked him twice already.
Close pitch. You said before Joe Adell's first at bat that you just had a feel that he was going to break out and do something special here tonight. Another look at this.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's not where Martin Maldonado was catching, it's where it's crossing the front of the plate. Kurt Suzuki and the Angels will take it because that pitch right there, it's really tough to hit in the air.
Josh Miller, pitching coach for the Astros, coming out to have a chat, talk things over. Runners at the corners, 1 away. 60 pitches so far for Valdez.
So far this year, Joe hasn't been overly aggressive on the first pitch, but it played is 0 for 1.
Such an important ball game. You can feel the tension here. Astros have taken 4 of the first 5 meetings. They meet 19 times. You have to get wins against this team. Joe Adell on ground ball, foul. Thankfully for the Angels.
I like what he was trying to do. He's trying to hit the ball the right side. The only person who's going to field that ball would be Gurriel over there.
Looked like Duffy was going, Gooby, and he was going to be dead to rights had this stayed fair.
I mean, Gurriel is a Gold Glove winner at first base. He's played a number of middle infield positions and third base. So you know he's got a strong throwing arm, so you got to make sure you get a good jump on contact.
0-1, Adell, right field, foul. Two-strike approach for Adell versus Valdez is what?
Well, you have to be tracking. This is the time where it's almost automatic he's throwing a breaking ball. Now, if you're Matt Duffy, you got to be ready. If it spins and hits the dirt and gets away from Maldonado, he's really good at blocking it, but you got to be ready. Ooh, trying to trick him there, fastball up.
Good take from Adell.
Tell you what, if you're Joe Adell, if he throws a fastball up, it's going to be tough to lay off that one. So he's got to be thinking break ball. Remember, he hit the double off him, break a ball that got a little more of the zone. Contact, so important here for Adell.
And that double on an 0-2 count as well. Ground ball, Gurriel has trouble with it. No play. Angels take a 2-1 lead. What an approach from Adell.
2 strikes, 2 strike hits in the game for Joe Adell. It's got to be a base hit. That ball was rocketed. The contact. Tried the backhand. He was trying to think backhand and quickly throw to first, but it was hit hard.
Two strike hits. That's two with 2 strikes for Adell on the season. He had 1 coming in.
That's a good swing. This confident.
So first and second. Here's Brandon Marsh. This big run, 2-1 now. Angels over the Astros here in the top of the 4th. They put up a crooked number here. And 2.
Goes back to that good at bat by Kurt Suzuki, not going after that pitch just slightly below the strike zone. A pitch that more likely hit on the ground. It gives Jo Adell a chance to come through. He does with 2 strikes back-to-back at bats.
Struck him out. 2 down.
There's that curveball.
Second strikeout for Valdez. Velasquez was his first victim. Ohtani's on deck, 2 down. Strike 1.
So 4 walks in the game for Valdez. 2 have scored.
Strike 2.
Nice to see Shohei get a chance to hit in this inning. Somehow, some way. Andrew Velasquez trying to get on base, driving a run potentially, and give Shohei a shot.
And wouldn't that be nice? Oh, 2. Got him. That ends the inning, but the Angels take the lead. Jo Adell got it done. Coverage cam. This is game 2 of 3 here in Houston, Minute Maid Park. Roof is closed. The Crawford boxes. A lot of orange in the stands. Sprinkling some halos here and there. A great ball game going on here so far. Mark Gubaza, Patrick O'Neill, Erica Weston, Valley Sports crew. This is a division matchup. Halos need to take a game here. Patrick Sandoval back out there. I mentioned that 3rd inning. 28 pitches after 26 combined in the first 2. Yuli Gurriel has represented his country of Cuba very well in the bigs. 1-0. Gurriel 1-for-1, doubled back in the 2nd. Fastball in there, 2-1. Kyle Tucker on deck, followed by Aledmus Diaz. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Two 2-1 count.
Just jumped a little bit quicker on his delivery on fastball. He's given up a couple doubles on fastballs tonight, Gurriel and Bregman.
Missed badly. Walks him. One thing would be nice, Scooby, to see is some soft contact from Patty Sandoval. And that represents our key player profile here tonight. We talk about lowest exit velo allowed AL starters last year. There's Patrick Sandoval, 85%.
Common denominator, all three lefties, and I mean, all three of them have excellent changeups. So you take that sting off the bat. He'd love to be able to take the sting off the bat here and see if he can get a ground ball. He hasn't only had one ground ball today so far.
Here's Kyle Tucker, always dangerous. And do they have a battle back in the second inning? 9-pitch at bat. Sandoval struck him out, but he does not get the call there. 1-0. Gurriel at first. Tucker with that unreal throw to get Mayfield in the last inning. That run eventually came home.
Sandoval had to wait for quite a while. Taylor Ward had to retrieve that foul ball. Good fastball in on hands. Remember, he struck him out with a changeup down and in.
And this lineup is just absolutely stacked. Tucker, though, he had that big series, opening series against the Angels, that multi-homer game and that one blowout, but he's been pretty cold since.
Fastball just off the plate lends you to think he's going to try to get him a swing and miss and a changeup in now. Arm side fade in, or does he want to go glove side downward tilt with a slider? He doesn't throw many sliders.
Here's the 2-2. Runs the count full. Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Don't think Gurriel will be on the move here. He's 4 stolen bases at a team for a guy that has a lot of strikeouts in his arm.
Not much of a lead at first. 3-2. Got him!
Wow.
Gets the call. Tucker in disbelief.
Credit Kurt Suzuki for that one. We talk about that a lot with Max Stassi. That ball was below the strike zone.
Had that late break to it, though.
Change up. He's saying that baseball's down.
He has point. 4th strikeout on the night for Patrick Sandoval. Now Aledmus Diaz with 1 down. Gurriel at first base. A 2-1 Angels lead. One and one.
Boy, so far in this game, Sandoval's been solid. Hasn't got a lot of swing and misses on his fastball, just one. Hasn't been overly productive as far as throwing his fastball for a strike, but going back to his secondary pitches has been good. Curveball, so that slider's been good. but his changeup electric.
See if he can get a ground ball.
51% fastballs, 49% secondary pitches.
Sandoval, second time through this Astros order. This big pitch, 1-2 to Diaz, and he got him. Back-to-back Ks for Sandoval, 2 down.
Goes to his bread and butter. Changeup, looks like a strike. Wow, that's like almost a reverse wiffle ball effect. That is what you would almost say is a screwball, how much movement that is, but it is a circle changeup. OPS of 451 on his changeup. 4th best in the show.
You see what the Astros do against it. So strength on strength, and Sandoval currently winning that battle. Here's Chas McCormick, Philadelphia's own Chas McCormick.
Seven of his last 8 pitches have been secondary pitches. That consists of curveball, slider, and changeup. This one fastball.
Well, that has to tell you he's got some good feel for the game right now. How to set up these hitters. After a leadoff walk to Gurriel, back-to-back strikeouts for Patrick Sandoval, leading 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Astros won game 1 of the series 8-3. Shohei Ohtani will lead off. Top of the 5th. And he's starting tomorrow, by the way. Three and one.
Really have a tough time throwing strikes with his fastball. There's been some numbers against his fastball this season and even in this game. So not a lot of confidence in that pitch, although it's still rushing up there 93, 95. That's an important pitch for him going forward, is commanding and trusting his fastball, because that really set up his secondary pitches.
Three-one to McCormick coming. Line drive, base hit. That's 2 knocks for Chas. So Houston has first and second with 2 down. Martin Maldonado is coming up.
Another hit versus a fastball. Have to throw a strike. Middle in, turns on it. It's one of those pitches too, you're actually happy that he didn't get lip to it, because that's one of those spots where you don't get that baseball back a lot. So see if he can make a quick adjustment. 2 strikeouts in this inning on his changeup. Big out right here now for Martin Maldonado at the dish.
And back to pitch calm for the battery of Suzuki and Sandoval, with the runner on second base being Yuli Gurriel. Upstairs, ball 1. And for a guy that doesn't hit for average, he can work some counts.
He's been pretty patient against the Angels this year. Defense straight up all the way around against Maldonado.
Rendon's been looking for some action down there, I think, all night.
Bullpen moving for the Angels now.
in there on pitch number 76 from Sandoval.
Oliver Ortega warming up.
Yep. And the rookie right-hander. He's got some good stuff, some life on that fastball out there. So again, that pitch com, that will give you, the pitch and the location, exact verbiage. What do you think it's saying now?
Get it out.
Yeah.
Any way you can get it.
Well, they got a strike. Foul ball to the right side. It's now 1-2.
And that was a fastball. And frustration for Maldonado. Maybe after that swing, maybe becomes a little impatient and swings at a non-strike now.
First and second, 2 down, 1-2 to Maldonado. Downstairs, 2-2.
Well, he did a real good job not going after. That was a pretty good pitch. Well, you got options. 2-2 count. 3-2, not as much. So this is the pitch right here for Sandoval.
Big moment in this game. 2-2. Runs the count full.
And if you're reluctant and not as confident with your fastball, as he pulled this fastball well off the inside corner. 3-2, normally you would think fastball, top of the order coming up, but your best pitch you have a feel for in this game, your changeup. Have to trust it.
Five strikeouts on the night for Sandoval, looking for 6. Full count to Maldonado here. First and second, runners go. Fouled away. A lot of work for Sandoval here in the fourth as well as the third.
I think Sandy gets through this inning, it's more likely the bullpen may be out there to start.
100%, no doubt.
It's been a battle.
Maybe even this batter, Gooby. Runners will be on the move again. 3-2, 2 down. Maldonado's just battling. As is Sandoval. Well, last night was 8-3, but man, that game was close until late. 3 of the first 4 extremely close. The Angels need to break through, find a way to get a W.
Patrick, I'm thinking the way Patrick walked back behind the mound and come back to the pitching rubber, he knows this is probably his pitch right here he has to make, and more than likely the last batter he's going to face tonight. Try to end on a positive note.
Love to see it. So Maldonado was on that fastball.
And he's thrown them 3 straight.
He's seen 8 pitches in this AB. I mean, he was living with that secondary stuff for 7 of 8 pitches. It's going back to it, right? "3-2.
Another fastball. Is Maldonado thinking, I'm waiting on that changeup, and he's late on a fastball. It's fun. It's a battle.
There's that walk that Sandoval's taking. Rendon down there at third base in a catcher's position. I mean, everybody knows how tight this is. What a battle. This AB alone, 6 minutes and counting. Let's put an end to it. 3-2. Of course, it's fouled back.
Thinking about changing my key to the game. Battle of Evermore by Led Zeppelin. This has been a battle right here.
5 straight fastballs, Gooby. Or 5 straight foul balls off fastballs.
I often say this with a starting pitcher. This is your best pitch of the night right here. Your mindset, my best pitch of the night. Gotta have it.
Only one unearned run against Sandoval on the night. Fly ball, center field. What a battle. Brandon Marsh is under it. Great job, Patrick Sandoval. 4 innings. And he gets it done. And the Angels lead 2-1. And Ohtani is leading off the 5th. That was an absolute battle of war between Sandoval and Maldonado. Joe Madden comes over, gives him a hug. Gooby, you'd expect that would be the end of his night. 85 pitches. But that last at bat took about 7.5 minutes, it seemed like.
Yeah, I'm always a big believer as a starting pitcher. You want to keep going and go to that 5 or 6 innings. But that's a draining last 2 innings. Some really good at bats against him. Yet he made the quality pitch when he needed to. Solid effort. It'll get better when he starts trusting his fastball more. But his secondary pitches are phenomenal.
Ohtani leading off top of the 5th at a 2-1 Angels lead. Swing and a miss.
I like what Shohei was doing there. Valdez was waiting in that dugout forever. So you're hoping that first pitch is in the zone, and that's where you try to crush it.
Valdez has owned the battle between these two. Ground ball, Gurriel. He's won a Gold Glove. He slipped Ohtani down the line. That was close, but Gurriel beats him to the bag, 1 away.
Boy, that was hit well by Shohei. If that gets by Gurriel, a Gold Glove winner last year. Shohei's running for a long time. A little bit of a stump, but he knows he's got to be quick. Close play. So he's played both corner infield positions. He feels that one like a third baseman.
Ohtani gets down the line like a deer. He's flying. Picked it up a notch once he saw Gurriel maybe slip a little bit.
Yep. 29.5 feet per second. Well above the average. And by the way, he's starting tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Always got to put that one in there. He's starting tomorrow.
3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Angels live pregame, followed by first pitch here. Top of the hour in Houston. Off day Thursday.
By the way, doesn't Maldonado got to be a little bit tired after that at bat too? And he had to go behind the plate, call some pitches.
Tired and frustrated. There's Ward, ground ball, gets through for a hit. His first hit of the series. Bring up Anthony Rendon, Houston native. Rendon 1 for 2. Again, Mike Trout has not played in the series. Swung the bat in the cage. According to Joe Madden, feeling better. Hope to play tomorrow. Great to have everybody in the lineup. Rendon, first pitch, opposite field, single, first and second, one away, and it gets by Tucker. That is unusual. And Ward into third base.
That's a huge break, but what a swing. Just relaxed the plate. Anthony Rendon knows he's got some room to that right side. Those hands, so good. He's looking to go that way on the pitch, out over the plate. Keeps his head down. Just a great swing.
And two really good swings on the night for Rendon, and that was just so unusual. I was looking in the book, putting a single down.
He looked up. That's what it was. This is see, because he knows the reputation. We showed that in the first game. We talked about it in Arlington, how many times the Angels go first to third. So when you read that scouting report, you're looking up to make that throw to third. He looked up and didn't look into his glove.
So error on Tucker. The Angels have first and third here in the fifth. Matt Duffy now, cleanup hitter for the Halos, playing first base. With the tough lefty on the hill, Jared Walsh is on the bench, available, strike one.
That was the one pitch you want. A chance to hit that ball in the air, and that's what Matt Duffy was trying to get. Then he tried to hold up, foul tip. Would have been a strike to look like anyhow. But you want something elevated.
Brayu up in the Astros bullpen. Duffy right field. Is that going to get down? It does. That's going to score a run. Rendon's going to third. 3-1 Angels. Well, flare shot.
Yeah, Matt Duffy, solid. Joe Maddon told me this yesterday. The other day in the clubhouse, it was a day game. That was Easter Sunday. Matt Duffy came in and, let's go, we got to win this game. He's got that intensity. He looks like he's so quiet, goes about his business, but he's all about playing the game and playing it tough. Comes through with a clutch hit there. Long Beach native.
Angels here in the fifth, tack on another one. One in the second, one in the fourth, one in the fifth. Just looking for that crooked number now. Rendon at third. Check on Duffy. Jack Mayfield already extended his hitting streak to 13 games here tonight.
You see another throw over the first base, you're probably thinking, all right, they're thinking maybe a safety squeeze and or trying to get their guy down to the bullpen and bring you another throw or so.
Probably trying to get Abreu another throw.
Or just to see if Mayfield gives it up, like he's moving his hand down or up on the bat for a possible push safety squeeze.
That's Dusty Baker, right? Calling those throwovers, getting his arm loose out there. Mayfield, one-hand swing. It's 0-1, and it's a huge run. You just feel like this run right here is enormous in this game.
Yep. A lot of baseball left, so you got to add on when you get an opportunity. Sandoval prevented that from the Astros with some good pitches in the third and the fourth inning. The limit damages to one unearned run.
0-1, ground ball. That's going to get through. Captain Jack with an RBI. It is 4-1 Angels here in the fifth.
That might be it for Framber Valdez. It looks like it is.
Not easy to touch up Framber Valdez. 2 knocks on the night for the captain.
Just a good job there, and that's a clutch hit. And knocking out one of the toughest pitchers against the Angels. His all-time high as far as wins versus an opponent, the Angels.
Yeah, he's got 7, but he is out of this game. Halos lead 4-1. Your healthiest self at angels.ocnavigator.org. By Morongo Resort Casino and Spa. Good times. And by your Southern California Chevy dealers. So huge to get to that number 4. for the Angels. You get to that number, they've had great success. 4+ runs scored last season, 65-26. 3 or fewer, not so much.
I think you're going to look at that plus and go more than 4. Keep adding on. But that is impressive. The bullpen was that good, holding leads last year. Deeper bullpen this season.
And knocking out Framber Valdez for the Angels, no easy task. He has been dominant. Brian Abreu, the right-hander, is in for Dusty Baker. See his numbers last season in 31 games. Comes in with runners at first and second. And 1 away here in the top of the 5th inning. Kurt Suzuki is the batter. Really good approach in this inning, right, Mark? You saw Ohtani hit the ball hard. Gurriel had to make a tough play. Ward with that single through the hole. Rendon, great job opposite way. Error by Tucker, first and third. Duffy single, Mayfield single.
Boy, like we talked about in Open, you get a bunch hits together, singles together against Valdez. He doesn't give up home runs, so bunch those hits together, take advantage of some wildness, some walks. That's why the Halos have a 4-1 lead. Speaking of walks, a couple walks in the game by Kurt Suzuki.
He has 3, in case anybody's wondering, career 3-walk games. Look in his eyes, he's thinking of driving in a run.
Well, he's been really patient, not chasing anything lower third. That's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And Abreu's got a power fastball, 93-98 curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Duffy at second, Mayfield at first, 1 away. 4-1 Halos. Top of the 5th inning. Line drive. That is a beautiful piece of hitting. Duffy's going to score. That one almost all the way to the wall. Here comes Mayfield. 2 runs are in, 6-1 Halos.
Zook was pumped up today. What a swing, right center. Saw him walk around, he'd go, let's go, Sandy, ready to go. Behind the plate, solid swing in the bat, 2 walks and now 2 RBI, double. Tracking, lower third, right center field. Approach, all the way to the wall. Big inning, crooked number like you were asking for, Patrick.
Big crooked number 4 here in the top of the 5th. Jo Adell has doubled and singled. And you remember that home run that Suzuki hit? That was his last hit. That was career hit number 1,400. That's 1,401, and that was a big one. Need those jug runs.
Yep.
Another runner in scoring position for Adell. Those runs charged to Framber Valdez. 6 Ernies. Best place to catch a triple here in this park would have to be left center, right? Way back to the wall. Or corner.
I see you working.
2-1. Or something that rattles around. You know, corner and then.
Well, 2 hits in the game for Jo Adell with 2 strikes, 0-2 and then a 1-2. Some real good swings using that big part of the field where your percentages of being successful going the other way when you have the shift on, not trying to pull the ball.
There's the 2-1. It's 2-2.
I think he was trying to get the home run out of the way.
Yeah.
99-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, back to another 2 strike. Had an 0-2 hit, had a 1-2 hit. Now it's a 2-2 count.
Remember Ohtani's cycle in Tampa? Was it,
oh, yes.
Did he need the triple to complete that? I was there, but you know my memory. 2-2, and he got him.
And the approach throughout this entire game against a guy with that type of stuff is the other way. Jack going the other way. Joe Adele the other way. Anthony Rendon let it travel, goes the other way. Matt Duffy the other way. Kurt Suzuki. By the way, the other way. Add extra bases.
So they're the other guys here tonight. There's Brandon Marsh. Fouls that off his foot. That's just, every time that happens, I feel it up here. Battle of the Beards, Bradley or Marsh, who you got?
Oh, Marsh, it's because of the flow with the hair, too.
Okay.
Slight edge. Don't tell Archie I said that, though.
Thought you pitchers stuck together. 0-1. 0-2.
We got Brandon Marsh sitting at on-deck circuit. He's seeing 99, 99, and 100 against Joe Adele. So he's geared up for a fastball, and he dropped the breaker ball in.
Marsh 0 for 1, but a sack ribby back in the second for the Halos' first run of the game. A lot of baseball left. Sure would be nice to go into that game with Ohtani on the hill tomorrow to win the series. Gotta play tight, crisp, clean baseball to beat these guys. There's the 1-2 to Marsh. 2 down. Woo. 2-2.
I think it's slider here now for Brandon Marsh. See if you get a flat one and hook it into the right field corner. 2-2. Last season, Ray would throw that slider about 41% of the time.
Ground ball, that's going to get through. Suzuki is coming around. It's going to be another run. 7-1 Halos. RBI knock with 2 outs for Brandon Marsh.
Your chances of being successful using that middle of the field, other way, another hit up the middle, RBI for Captain Caveman.
6 hits this inning alone.
Surprised he went with a fastball there and he was ready.
So Andrew Velasquez, 9th batter of the inning. Ohtani led this thing off about a half hour ago. Swing and a miss. 5 runs here in the 5th. The Halos now lead 7-1.
Between the bottom of the 4th and the top of the 5th. It's been a lot of action, a lot of traffic, a lot of time.
Time well spent here with you, Bud. This is awesome. 0-1. Marsh on the move. The throw down is a beauty, and Maldonado gets Marsh to end the inning, but not before. I mean, good hustle, Marsh. We'll give it to you. You got the RBI. 5 runs come in, and the Angels lead 7-1. They just strung some hits together. 10 on the night. Seven to 1 Angels over the Houston Astros, downtown Houston. The Angels looking to even up this series at 1 game apiece. Oliver Ortega is in. Now, Gooby, with all those runs that come in, Patrick Sandoval's night is over. But would you try to maybe talk your way back in there, get that dub?
No, I think mentally and physically you're exhausted on that one. This is an opportunity now for Oliver Ortega to have to put up that shutdown inning. Top of the order for the Astros. Sandoval gave everything he had in that third and fourth inning where he threw a ton of pitches, nearly 50 combined.
So Pena is going to lead off here in the 5th. If you go back to that 4th inning for Sandoval, if you're looking for like a momentum shift, remember that called strike 3 on Tucker, and he got Diaz, McCormick with the single, and then that big battle with Maldonado. But maybe you look at that Tucker called strike 3.
Definitely. Every once in a while you need a break, especially when you're facing the Astros. You remember that break they got on that sac fly by Brandon Marsh on a fly ball, and he hit well. They had a chance to double up Joe Adell. They didn't make the play.
Pena hits that one to right field. Taylor Ward is there for out number 1. Check out this list here, Gooby. Sandoval joins this small group of pitchers with 30-plus career starts, winning percentage of 167 or worse, an ERA of 4.5 or better. Mysterious Walker, Rube Shower, Tom Sheehan, Jack Neighbors, Anthony Young, and Patrick Sandoval.
Well, golly.
Okay, Jim, that's Jack Neighbors.
Oh, my bad.
Mysterious Walker, though.
How great of a name is that?
Brantley hits this one to Joe Adell. It's a great name. Two down. 2 quick outs for Ortega. I guess Mysterious Walker was pitching all kinds of different games under like an alias or an unknown name, and so they called him Mysterious Walker.
I don't know why I didn't try that then. Maybe I would have got a couple more wins.
Mysterious Mark. Who is that tall, strapping man in the tight uniform?
Oh.
Nothing mysterious about you. You came right after him. They knew who you were. All right, so here's Alex Bregman with 2 away. Quick F9, quick F7. So this young rookie that we saw towards the end of last season, Ortega, how does he fit into this Angels bullpen with that type of arm?
He has an electric fastball.
Is that going to stay in play? Duffy comes over, foul ball.
And you saw signs of it last year, but strike zone command, something the Angels knew they had to work with him. Came into camp, great shape. Joe Madden, Matt Weiss were raving about what they saw in spring. So now it's this trust. When you have an arm like Oliver has, it's all about trust. Believe you have the stuff, and then trust your catcher behind the plate to work you through it. I mean, that's a pretty sharp break, even though it's not in the strike zone. That's a sharp curveball.
Entered 2022 as the Angels' number 21 prospect in the Dominican Republic. Last year with Double-A and Triple-A and got a late call up. Here's 1-2 to Bregman.
So right now, Bregman's sitting fastball. You know what? You have life on your fastball. Has it chased on your breaking ball? Go after it.
That's what he does. But right to Joe Adell for the 3rd out of the inning. So Ortega comes in, and that's it for the 5th inning here in Houston. Friday as your Angels take on the Orioles at 6:30 p.m. The first 25,000 fans will receive a cooler bag presented by Yakult Probiotic Drink. Visit angels.com/promotions for more information. Here's Andrew Velasquez. Once again, Abreu back out there for the Astros. Here in the top of the 6th inning. Halos up 7-1. 5 runs there in that top of the 5th. Brandon Marsh is caught stealing, so Velasquez gets another crack at Abreu. Ohtani is on deck, and once again, Gooby, worth mentioning, he starts tomorrow.
Love to have him on the bump tomorrow with a chance to win a series. Got to keep adding on here. Don't be comfortable. Even though it's a 6-run lead, you want to keep adding on in this yard.
You know, with Velasquez, and Joe Madden was asked because of how well he has played defensively. Let's face it, he has. I guess it comes down to the bat. If he can get some hits here or there. But with David Fletcher eventually coming back, who knows? Maybe they keep Velasquez at short. And Fletch might have to play a little second base, but you can mix and match. But Velasquez has shown that he can pick it and is just great defensively and will save you runs.
And at that point, maybe one less guy down in your bullpen. There's your hit.
That's it. You know, you just everyone get a couple of these hits and you're going to stick around. Oh, all right. Thought maybe you might think of going a second. Just, well, you know.
It's amazing how many opposite field hits.
So Ohtani back on the bump tomorrow for his 3rd start. Angels live at 3 p.m. on Valley Sports West.
Yeah, pitch open today against this Astro club. Struck out 9. Just allowed 1 run. Ended up picking up the loss in that game, but threw the ball very, very well. 3 home runs on this road trip.
Unreal numbers. You know, when he first came up and we were making those comparisons to Babe Ruth, and people, I put in quotation marks, thought we were crazy. And then last year, the season of the ages, just got to put that on repeat.
I mean, Babe Ruth's all-timer. But when Babe Ruth was pitching and hitting at that point, Shohei's season, I think it was what, 1919 or 1918 is last year where he did both a lot.
Babe's, yeah.
This Shohei's is better.
So you got speed on the bases. A 7-1 lead.
I love it anytime you have a pitcher distracted. Remember that happened with Tyler Wade. And it gives Shohei a chance maybe to get a fastball, or a distracted pitcher misses on a secondary pitch.
Ohtani, big cut.
Well, that was that distracted hanging breaking ball there, just pulled off.
I like checking the stands to see if anybody's looking at their phones. All eyes on Showtime. Madden was asked if he's ever going to give this guy a day off. And he said he could see him, paraphrasing, playing almost every single game, and he played 155 last year. But to think about your starting pitcher tomorrow in less than 24 hours, he's at the dish right now. Looking to go yard.
He's had a couple pitches in the sequence. Is that pretty good hack set? That's 97. That's left center field. I remember him hitting a home run center field. When the stands were, the fans were waiting to see how far that baseball was going to go here, Minute Maid Park.
Here's the 2-2 to Shohei Ohtani. And he gets called looking. Top of the zone.
I think this got the upper part of the strike zone.
Maldonado just taking a little peek at his former teammate there. He didn't try to frame that anymore. He just kept the glove right there. Ryan Willis rings him up for out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. Taylor Ward is up. It's a big hit in that 5th inning to get the ball rolling. Taylor Ward made this club, but started the year on the injured list. Joe sees him as his everyday right fielder.
A little longer look down there. 1 out. Usually you think of 2-1. Count, 1 out. Action count. Maybe there is one now. Oh, he's leaning.
Ward already has 1 home run on the season.
Big time leaning.
Pretty good move.
Yeah, that's good footwork.
Bray's been hitting upper 90s ever since he came into the game. Those 2 strikeouts, struck out Adele and Ohtani. Velasquez goes, it's inside, the throw down. He's in there, stolen base.
Looks like they're looking at it. I thought he got his hand in there. Unless there was some separation in the base.
Beat the throw.
That's right on the money, though. He beats it. Did he separate that hand from the base? Not off the check. Second bag for Andrew Velasquez. 10th stolen base for the Angels on the season. And yes, they will still try to attempt to steal, even in this series against Maldonado behind the plate. You got to live by that. It's been successful.
2-1, 2-2.
Remember that game in Texas? 8 runs, just 1 extra base hit, 1 double, still scored 8. Today here, 7 runs, no home runs. Putting together some good at bats.
It's a different feel for this Halo team with that aggressive base running. Fell back. Right now, let's give you a quick word from Hyundai.
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
It just seems, though, Mark, that Joe wants to be more aggressive, wants to get more plays and get guys moving and just create havoc out there.
I mean, you don't want to run yourself out of innings, but if you're running and you're going on the right counts, going with the data you receive where pitchers are going to throw certain pitches in running counts, yes. Know the outfielders. Do they come in on the baseball well? Do they have a tough time going left to right to try to take that extra base going first to third? All those things come into play, and that's all that data they have.
Struck him out, 98, fastball, 2 down. That's going to bring up Anthony Rendon, it's nice to get his bat back in the lineup. He's got 2 hits on the night, 2 singles, 1 to left, 1 to right. For a 3-hit game here in his hometown. Maybe it's, sleeping in your own bed.
It helps.
He had that stomach bug, took care of him at home. Tomorrow the Angels will face Jake Odorizzi. Hopefully get Mike Trout back in the lineup.
It's a good matchup for Mike Trout. If he's feeling well enough, I think he'll be in there against Odorizzi. Lower part of the strike zone, a lot of his pitches breakables too. You know Trout, he wants to get back out there as soon as possible.
1-0.
And trust me, those guys in the dugout want Trout be out in the field.
For more on Mike Trout, let's go down to Erica Weston.
Yeah, Patrick, I talked to Trout in the dugout just before first pitch. He told me he's feeling a lot better than yesterday, as we reported. He got some work in the cages today, also had the padding in his locker, so getting some experience with that. But he told me he's going to try and play tomorrow, so we'll hopefully see him.
And that'd be great news. Thank you, Erica. Rendon, right field. Kyle Tucker going back, has a read on it, and makes the catch for the third out. Angels have a 7-1 lead here at Minute Maid.
Play, taking a look back at last night, comes courtesy of Halo shortstop Andrew Velasquez making the diving play, robbing Jose Siri of a base hit. He told me before the game today, those kinds of plays are easier in a sense. They're just kind of reactionary, but I work just on the routine stuff and get that down. He said, I think that's more important. If those plays, like we saw it last night, happen, that's just the extra cherry on top. And Patrick Gooby, he is doing his homework too, talking to some of the veterans. He says he talks to Max Stassi constantly. He's very knowledgeable, gets conversations in with Rendon, Ohtani when he gets a chance. Just anybody who's kind of been around, they all have something to teach me.
Yeah, that was a great interview in Angels Live pregame. Erica, thanks very much. And Mark, remember when we spoke with him briefly also, he said he thought that play he made to his right on Altuve to start that game was almost tougher than the dive.
Well, that was a long throw, too, on the backhand. He's playing in right field now with Yordan Alvarez at the plate. So that's a long throw, like the long throw he made against Altuve in that game.
Alvarez, so dangerous. 2 home runs last night.
Or some life on his fastball for Ortega.
Where do you rank him as far as young hitters in this game today?
Wow, I mean, he's not only has he got power, but he makes good contact, and he's got a pretty good idea at the plate.
Oliver Ortega almost got him. Ortega came in relief of Sandoval, who went 4 innings. 4 hits, 5 Ks, 2 walks, only 1 run. It was unearned through 85 pitches. It's the young Dominican, Ortega, for his 2nd inning of work. And that just does wonders for the bullpen, right? If you could get, some of these bridge innings right here.
So that's a pretty good idea, that idea of the strike zone.
Right.
That's a good breaking ball from Ortega. Alvarez is not even fighting. Now, if he could backdoor a break ball, that might be effective.
2-2 to Alvarez. Full count. Yeah, they've had Velasquez positioned in that exact same spot every one of his at-bats. Mayfield's way back. Rendon, deep shortstop. Ooh, just got a piece. Secondary something here.
When you're blessed with a fastball like Ortega has, you know what? Go after him. Went after Bregman last inning with his fastball. Got in on him enough just to have routine fly ball to left.
3-2. Fastball fouled off left side.
Got in on him with a fastball.
Alvarez 0 for 2 on the night. Ortega is someone to keep your eye on in this Angels bullpen. 3-2. Right back to that 4-seam, but Alvarez, what an at-bat. Draws a walk. Hey, roll up to the Big A this Saturday as your Angels face the Orioles at 6 p.m. The first 25,000 fans will receive a roll-up blanket courtesy of Nationwide Pet Insurance. For more info, visit angels.com/promotions.
It's one of those moments as a manager, you're a little frustrated. You'd rather have him swing the bat there. Even though there's a lot of power in that bat, you want him to swing.
So Yuli Gurriel All those fastballs in a row that he saw, that he threw Alvarez. And
he swings at the first pitch a lot, and he was guessing first pitch fastball, and that was a commitment to swing at that one, a slider not even close to the zone.
One and one, 7-1 Angels here at Minute Maid Park. It's great to have you with us. It's a battle for first place in the AL West. Angels had it last night, now just a half game back of these Astros. There's a fly ball, let's call that a pop-up. Velasquez, they're fighting over it.
Shortstop always has the call, just like the center fielder is the quarterback. The outfield defense, shortstop is the infield.
That makes perfect sense to me. Velasquez, wasn't he just way over in right field for
Yeah, he's working his way there again.
Look at that, and the uniform's filthy. He's got that stolen base, the base hit. Yeah, he told me even his family, you know, back home in the Bronx, watching him, the way he's playing, particularly at the plate, right? How they can sense, you know, they obviously they know him better than anybody, right? They probably watched every one of his ABs, that he is slowing this game down. That's just great to see.
I'm impressed how comfortable he is in the locker room already with the new team. It's really impressive. Because his teammates realize how hard he plays the game. He'll get that uniform dirty. He'll make those plays. He'll run bases well.
Kyle Tucker, oh, right off Ortega's foot. We certainly hope he is okay. What a play, though, by Velasquez.
And right on cue, the glove. Well, that got him quickly on that one. Hopefully he's okay.
That goes 1-6-3. And Velasquez was way over it in the hole on the shift. And what a break to make that play. The scoop to Duffy. And they are checking on Ortega right now.
It's right off the foot. And Tucker, who runs well.
Well, he looks to be okay, Mark. Probably take a couple of warm-up pitches. I know, you know, for you, flashbacks.
Yeah, I prefer not to flashback to that.
I'd imagine not.
But if he's okay, looks like he's going to be.
Thumbs up.
We can now say kick saving a beauty.
I was leaving it for you.
Yep.
Go ahead and score that one. 6-3. 2 down here in the 6th. That was an even 100 exit velo. I wouldn't know what that feels like in my Prius trying to get down to the big A, but car starts rattling at 88.
You got to remember, when he releases the baseball, Ortega, he's about 52 feet away. So that's 100 miles off the bat. You're 52 feet away. Yeah.
So Ledmus Diaz now with 2 down. Bottom of the 6th. Big man Jordan Alvarez at second base. Heads up baseball by Andrew Velasquez all night long. Just checking where he is. He's at shortstop right now. And sure enough,
wow,
there he is. Scoops it up.
Unbelievable.
Cross the diamond. Just a frozen rope over to Duffy.
Decides to use the glove and the throwing arm this time.
The kid's got it. Beauty by Ortega. We mentioned how great Velasquez has been all night, and on cue, how tough a play is that in reality?
Well, after you have to make a play before using your glove, you're playing basically the second base position. Slide and make the play and get up quickly, knowing Diaz runs well. And over the top throws, you can't really throw from the side because it's going to drift away from the first baseman. Over the top, perfect throw.
Knock that ball down, just keep it right there. What's impressive defensively is there's absolutely zero panic in his game. Zero.
No. Tough kid. Love the way he plays the game.
It's like a burst of energy. There's a spark plug. There's a lot of those types of guys on this Angels team. I mean, anytime you run past Brandon Marsh, let's go.
Yes.
Joe Adell, same. Those guys, they pick each other up. And Velasquez, Jack Mayfield is just calm, cool, and collected. You got Ohtani, Rendon, and Trout, your superstars. And great job also by Ortega there. He's gone 2 innings here. There's Duffy. Walked and singled. He's got an RBI, 2 runs, scored. And Matt Duffy may get a lot of run at first against tough lefties.
He puts the ball in play, hits it to right center, left center. Good at bats, patient, doesn't chase. He looks quiet, but he's very vocal. Loves to compete.
The pitcher Ronel Blanco made his MLB debut earlier this season versus the Angels at the Big A. Spent all of last season AAA Sugarland. Against the tough righty. Could have possibly made a move, right, for Walsh, but stick with Duffy.
Joe knows what kind of at-bats you're going to get from him.
He actually has those reverse splits, hits righties very well.
Yeah, it's surprising. He's got really good numbers this year against lefties, which is good to see.
So career batting average for the right-hander Matt Duffy better versus righties than lefties. Spoke with him about that in spring training. I guess it just comes down to he's a really good hitter.
Yeah. Now 6 for 14 versus lefties this year. Defensively, I don't know if first base is maybe his go-to position. If so, maybe if you lose a little something defensively with him over there, but he gets a piece, stays alive. Thought he got a piece. They're saying that's an out. Yeah, you just heard that sound in the dirt.
So Duffy strikes out, 1 away. Jack Mayfield now the batter.
You don't see him chase all that often.
See hitting coach John Malley very animated in there with Joe Adell. Remember when Jack Mayfield got plunked last night? Fastball right on the bicep, tricep area. He's 2 for 3 here tonight. I asked to see the bruise. We thought maybe we'd see the stitching. And the Angels training staff, there's this, he called it a miracle patch that they put on the bruise, and for whatever reason, it's like this gel pack, and it takes away the bruise like that. And I know that Trouty's been having that on his hand. And don't get me wrong, it was still a bruise.
Yeah.
But his words, miracle patch. And then I told you that story, and you said, where was that when I was playing?
Yeah.
Foul ball, right side. And with that, we'll give you a quick word from Jack in the Box.
Pop my $5.99 classic and spicy 50-50 popcorn chicken combo. Order on the Jack app today.
With the way that Velasquez and listen, Jack Mayfield gives you some real good at bats as well. He's got 2 knocks and RBI, run scored here.
You got Captain Chaos, Tyler Wade, what he could do in the infield, and also he could play the outfield.
Last year, Mayfield, a lot of extra base hits, 10 homers. Hey, one game at a time. Miss Fletch, can't wait till he gets back. 2-2.
Trying to get on base, try to get those add-on runs. 7th inning.
And draws the walk. It's a nice night for Captain Jack Mayfield. Game 2 of the series. Angels leading 7-1. Blanco walks him.
How about the 5th and 6th batters in the lineup today for the Halos with Jack Mayfield and Kurt Suzuki? On base 6 times, 6 out of 7 at bats, including 3 walks, 3 hits, some RBIs, 3 RBIs. Solid.
Everyone in this lineup but the unanimous AL MVP has a hit here tonight.
Oh, he is on the mound tomorrow, by the way.
That's right. Suzuki 2 walks, double, 2 runs scored. Take a look at this box score. Ohtani did walk, but Ward a single, Rendon 2 singles, Duffy a single, 2 runs, Captain Jack 2 singles, Walk a run, a rib, Zook 2 walks, a double, 2 runs, 2 ribs, Adele a double, a single, Ribby, Marsh sac fly, Ribby single, 2 on the night, and Velasquez the single and that stolen base and playing great defense all around.
Yeah. So you're always looking for that balance in a lineup, and there's some serious balance without arguably the best player in the game in Mike Trout in the lineup tonight. Hope to see him tomorrow. Eric Weston reported that there's a good chance of that. Hopefully that's the case.
Gooby, that double that Suzuki hit back in the 5th inning was right center, and there's still a ton of room out there for him right now.
Good take on a tough slider.
Two and two. And he got it. Parker Mashinsky is up. The lefty for the Astros here. Top 7. 2 down. The rookie Blanco just made his MLB debut. 2 strikeouts and a walk here in the inning. Late for 37, a .216 batting average. A double and a single on the night. That's Adele looking for here, 0-2. Fastball up the middle, base hit. Nice night. 3 hits.
That's all with 2 strikes.
That's right.
couple with 0-2.
All 3 of his hits with 2 strikes. That's excellent.
Shorten up the swing, level swing. Not major exit velocity, but put in play, middle of the field.
Dell works so hard. Dusty Baker said now he's going to make a pitching change. The lefty Parker Mashinsky is coming in. That'll do it for Blanco. Angels lead 7-1 here in the 7th. And select pregame and postgame coverage. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Parker Mashinsky is now in for the Astros, trailing 7-1. Texas Tech. We saw Red Raiders in action, didn't we, Gooby? You and I?
Yes, we
over
did.
at AT&T versus Baylor.
Yeah, we were exhausted seeing how many points were scored in that game.
And that was a lot of fun. As is this here tonight. We wanted some crooked numbers. That happened in the 5th. 5 runs. Brandon Marsh with runners at first and second. 2 away.
Boy, a lot of traffic for the Angels today. The 12 hits, 5 walks. As much traffic as the 405, the 5, the 101. You pick a freeway out there, back home.
Okay, Stewart. Inside.
That's one of those ones you're just happy that didn't hit you. It was tracking you, and there's a little bit of a smile and a deep breath for Brandon Marsh.
A couple RBI in the night for Marsh, and I always expect him, and we've seen the Angels approach right up the middle, for Marsh to look the other way.
Yep.
He's just not a pull-happy guy.
I like that room out in left center here against the lefty especially.
3-0. Our guy, Andrew Velasquez, on deck. It's early, but a lot of players in contention for player of the game.
Oh, lots.
Man, I don't know who's going to get the final vote on that.
I kind of like a guy who's got 3 hits with 2 strikes on him today.
Yeah. I like good defense, too. And Brandon Marsh draws a walk.
Another walk, another patient at bat.
So with Andrew Velasquez stepping up, how about our Carl's Cam replay of his defense the last couple of days? Oh, yeah.
Not only the range getting to the baseball, this is a quick infield. The redirect here, using the glove on the flip. Then it's up the middle on the dive, gets up quickly. The overhand throw, the accurate throw to get the out. So the range, the arm, and then the glove.
He's up with the bases loaded, takes strike 1. He gets a lot on those throws.
We're not talking about Gary Payton, the glove. We're talking about Andrew Velasquez using the glove today.
You did not expect a Mushinski-Velasquez matchup here tonight, but you got it.
Yeah, there's quite a few letters.
I think Velasquez has him by 1. Or is it tied? There's too many letters to count.
Just need Salted Lamacchio on deck. Come out of retirement.
His name had to get misspelled on the back of his jersey at least once.
I always preferred him as Salty. That way I didn't make a mistake on that last name.
Producer's going to get salty if we don't move on. Bases full, got him looking. That'll do it for the Angels half of the seventh. They lead 7-1, so let's stretch it out. Thank you so much, guys. You're never running on empty with Bobby V in the studio. I promise you that. Looking forward to Angels Live post-game show. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, for sure.
How does he do it? Had a lot of fun working with Bobby V for that Rangers series. Speaking of that Rangers series, Jimmy Herget now in. How about those 2 scoreless innings and those 5 strikeouts? That was a career high.
Strike throwing machine.
Just the way he delivers that baseball. So many different angles. Chas McCormick's been a tough out here tonight, 2 for 2. Hits that one right field. Taylor Ward is there. Out number 1 here in the 7th.
Back to that delivery for Jimmy Herget. You hear that terminology, a short arm delivery. That is a short arm, sidearm, well, 3/4 delivery from Herget. Very difficult to track out of his hand as a hitter. And then he can throw that frisbee in there. Makes his fastball 90-92 look like it's 100.
There's Maldonado. Now he doesn't have, you know, that submarine delivery like Kent Colby, but he's wiry. Nobody really was as wiry as Colby, but he's got those high stirrups. Got that old school look. He's got Maldonado 0-1. Andrew Wantz also now in this Angels bullpen, could be available in a game like this, just activated. Kenny Rosenberg sent out after making his MLB debut last night. There's a pop-up. Joe Adell comes in. They're out number 2. And right now we'll give you a quick word from Kia.
Presenting Kia's lineup of exceptionally capable all-wheel drive SUVs.
How important can a guy like Jimmy Herget, from what we saw last year, but I feel like he's even better earlier this year, you know, in this season right now to this bullpen.
I think when you have guys down in your bullpen too, you can sit there and talk with. It makes you better as far as confident. A lot of those guys, whether it's Aaron Loop or Ryan Tepera, Raisel Iglesias, Archie Bradley, how aggressive they are in the strike zone, and you have a different arm angle from Jimmy Herget, makes the entire bullpen better because you don't give everyone the same exact look as hitters.
Oh, and here's Pena. That's gonna, unless that rolls foul, I think you got to let it go. Anthony Rendon just steps on it right there. Cool, calm, collected.
I still want to have a chance to be able to check the difference between the blood pressure of Anthony Rendon and Aaron Loop at some point.
I mean, you had to let it roll foul at that point, otherwise that's just an easy knock. I can't remember seeing anybody do that.
I remember Lenny Randall back in the day, there was a foul ball. I think it was maybe in the Kingdom, where he's trying to blow it foul.
Right.
Blow it, get foul, get foul. Anthony Rendon just steps on it.
And having a guy like that on your side, when you see, well, nothing phases him, I should go out there and play the game that way. Man.
what you wish we both could do that. It's impossible.
No, yeah, you're right. 0-2.
Little hesitation in his delivery there from Jimmy Herg. A little different look.
You know, we often mention that Frisbee style delivery. Noah Syndergaard and Jose Suarez had that Frisbee out on the field pregame, about a half an hour to 45 minutes. Getting loose. And Lorenzen also was the main guy getting all that work.
It's good exercise, too. You have to track, you got to track it down. They're staying grounded while running in the outfield.
I don't know, what do you call that Frisbee with this? It's not like a normal whammo Frisbee. It's just giant, flies forever with a giant hole in the middle.
Well, I don't know how he fouled that one off. That was a perfect pitch. Well, you got to believe if he ran a fastball inside, it would tie him up, because he's looking everything away, whether it's a fastball or the Frisbee slider.
Here's the 1-2. Almost got him. There's a drive left field. That one is hit extremely well and deep and gone. Solo home run for Jeremy Pena. It's now 7-2 Angels over the Astros.
Saw his first career home run in Angel Stadium, his second one here. Didn't go after a couple of those pitches off the plate, even ran a fastball in. You would think he would have part of the plate now after that pitch from Herg, the one before. This slider just flattened out. He's got some serious talent.
Got that train moving up there. Going to deal with Michael Brantley now here in the bottom of the 7th. Don't want to give the Astros any life. Just about to say the Angels have done a good job against Pena. He's been red hot to start this year. He had reached only on that catcher's interference, but he just clubs his second home run. So Herget comes right back and attacks Michael Brantley after allowing that home run. Angels 6-5 on the season. Astros 6-4. And the 0-2. Andrew Velasquez way out in right field again. He's been all over the place. You got to keep your eye on him. A whole lot of room to the left side or to the right of Anthony Rendon. And here's the 1-2.
That's why you're seeing pitches on the inside part of the plate to try to keep Michael Brantley from just punching the ball away against them. Now they're going away.
Not just Brantley, excellent hitter with 2 strikes. That ball was bobbled by Marsh, but he gets it in quickly. So Brantley, his first hit of the game. And that brings up Alex Bregman.
The bullpen going. Aaron Luke.
This game is so important. That's why you get a guy like Aaron Loop up right now. Joe Madden, Gooby wants to come out, have a word, maybe buy some time. And here's the boos while doing it.
I was going to say, that's a slow enough walk, tells me he's going to the bullpen.
Oh, going to it right now. Calls for the lefty. So that'll do it for Jimmy Herget. Runner on, Aaron Loop is coming in.
And just like that, they find it, our guys in the truck. Here it comes. Andy Randall trying to force that ball, blow that ball, foul. The baseball ends up on that one. The old Kingdom. Get foul, baseball. Get foul, baseball. Get foul.
It's one of the all-time great pieces of video in baseball history. Now, did that count? Can't be allowed to do that. They probably changed the rule.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's the Randall rule. Aaron Loop, check this out, one of 3 relievers with 5+ innings and no hits allowed this season. That's why you go out and get a guy like this, sign him to a big 2-year contract. His ERA with the Mets last year, Gooby, best of anyone in baseball with the amount of work that he had.
And he was solid against right-handed batters as well. 211 batting average, just a slugging percentage of .257.
Starts Bregman off with a strike. It's 0-1. 7-2 Angels here in the bottom of the 7th. Don't want to mess around, so they go to Aaron Loop here.
A whip of 0.94. And that means that's hits and walks per innings pitched. Less than a base runner each inning against Aaron Loop. That is impressive. Ahead 0-2. Starts on the first base side with a pitching rubber. So he has deception in his delivery.
2 down, 2 strikes on Alex Bregman. That's a miss on purpose.
Ooh, that was pretty close to a strike. So he went changeup, little off the plate. Fastball, 92. Also has a sweeping breaking ball.
That's a 2-2. Inside, full count, way inside.
Look at cutter he threw at him.
That 1-2 pitch was very close, but now it's 3-2. 5-run lead here for the Angels in the bottom of the 7th. This is the heart of the Astros order right here. Got him. Aaron Loop comes in, gets Alex Bregman looking, and we head to the top of the 8th with a 7-2 Halo lead. Hope it's right here with us on Bally Sports, the series finale, Angels, Astros, and Showtime. Shohei Ohtani on the bump, his 3rd start. Gooby, I can't wait.
Yeah, looking to pick up his first career W against the Astros. He's thrown the ball well, including a game he had here where he struck out 10 guys in 7 innings pitched.
Oh, and by the way, he's leading off here at the top of the 8th inning. Let's get that run back. Oh, he was trying for it. Defensive change for the Astros. series now at center field. McCormick moves to left. Ground ball, second base. Diaz has it, out number 1. Shohei's probably going to go back there and just start concentrating on pitching right about now.
Yeah, his focus is incredible. He'll be frustrated that he didn't get in on the party as far as hits today. But his job tomorrow on the mound, huge.
Here's Taylor Ward. (0-2). And that was awesome to see Aaron Loup come in. You know, maybe you might think, 7-1, you save him.
It's a huge game.
Absolutely.
You have to find a way to beat the Astros. The Astros already 4-1 against the Angels this year.
Here's Ward, drives that left field. McCormick over there now. That's going to go to the wall, and Ward on his way to second base with a 1-out stand-up double.
That's at least 3 hits today on 0-2 counts. A number of hits with 2 strikes. Little flat breaker ball, turns on a short. Through the baseball, lines it in the corner.
It's Ward's first double of the season. And not the last.
2 hits in the game for Ward.
2 hits in the game for Anthony Rendon. Rendon drives that one foul.
It's pretty quick hands on the inside part of the plate. Try to keep it fair. Remember his couple other good swings going the other way. Scored a run in the game.
Really is a local legend, Anthony Rendon, in these parts. No question. Lamar High School, Rice University.
Except for maybe in 2019. Just for a brief moment, they weren't friends.
It's another excellent point by you, partner. I mean, that game 6 with Nats down 3-2. He had a homer. He had 5 ribbies in that game. Then he homered at game 7. It was a shocker. Now he's in his 3rd season with the Angels, but the first 2, I mean, let's face it, this feels like the first year of Anthony Rendon as a halo takes upstairs. Healthy. I think we've all heard the quote, bears repeating. Feels like no one's stabbing him in the groin. And what a healthy Anthony Rendon can do. Not to mention his defense. And the best third baseman in the game, and he has a 3-1 count, 3-2.
He was trying to go for the Crawford boxes there on that pitch. Now his approach changes. 3-2. He's thinking RBI. If he goes away with the pitch, I'm going the other way. Up and away, I will drive at the right center.
Wyshynski gets him. 2 away.
13 hits for the Halos tonight. 6 of those 13 have been with 2 strikes.
Three of those 6 from Joe Adell. And here's Matt Duffy, 1 for 3, walk single, 2 runs, and drove in a run. Off to a great start in his first year. in an Angel uniform. Angels lost game 1 of the series, 8-3, up 7-2 here in game 2, and Shohei Ohtani on the hill tomorrow. Jake Odorizzi is going for the Astros. 3 o'clock, Angels live pregame show. Duffy, oh, nice play, Diaz over there to make that catch. Saves the run. We're heading to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Angels lead 7-2. That's like a Johnny Cash song. My goodness. Are we live? Bottom 8, 7-2. Angels over the Astros. Aaron Loop is in. You take it. No, I take it. Apologies. Got to stay strong for a full 9, Gooby. No let up. Let's go.
Yeah, don't get loopy out here.
Let's go. Mayfield moves from second to third, and Tyler Wade now in second base. Anthony Rendon now out of the ball game. Captain Chaos. Captain Jack. Left side of the Angels infield, leading 7-2. Aaron Loop, second time up. It's a nice little matchup here with Yordan Alvarez, but it's 3-0. Three and one. There's a ground ball. Velasquez. Did he get him? That's going to be close. Duffy.
Looked like he was able to drag his foot on the base.
Held his foot on the base. The Velasquez, that's a little bit of a shorter throw for him. If he short armed that or not, but nonetheless, 6-3.
I think it was the hop itself, and it stayed low. And then on the move to throw, was able to keep his foot on the base. It's that first out.
We were talking about Duffy at first base. That's a heck of a play.
That stretch.
So out number one here, bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, people on social media were asking how many captains are on this team, because you got Captain Chaos, Captain Jack, and then you got Captain Caveman out in center. So that's 3.
I was a corporal. It was purely fiction. Didn't last long for me.
Is that Die Hard 2?
Yeah, Corporal Telford. Yeah. Regular guy got appendicitis. Oh no. Major Grant, Grenada. 0-2. Got a guy there. Who's going to get it, though? Duffy calls for it. It's out number 2. So Yuli Gurriel is retired. It's Kyle Tucker.
I really think when you go back to this game, the offense has been great, but that was that at bat for Tucker, borderline pitch called a strike against him. That was a big one.
Last time he was up, remember the kick save and a beauty from Oliver Ortega. Tucker right up the middle off Ortega's foot, over to Velasquez, to Duffy for the 1-6-3.
Patrick did a really nice job against Tucker, who had success against him coming in. He was 4 for 6 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, and struck him out twice. Once swinging, once looking. Nice job by Sandy today.
There's a ground ball over to Duffy. Loop is over. A high throw. Does he get back? He's safe. Unbelievable.
It's one of those plays you think you have so much time. And a high underhand throw. Yeah, he beat it, just beat it. I was so glad that
no one got hurt.
Aaron Loop didn't go to dive back with his glove.
He's just
cruising down there.
I mean, a Sunday stroll. Goodness. And Duffy just got stuck. Threw that one a tad too high, so that brings up Ledmus Diaz here. And Gift AB, bottom of the 8th.
That's a way to pick up your first baseman right there.
That's how you do it. So Aaron Loop, despite the extra out, it's done with the 8th inning. Joe Adell, the Toyota player of the game, 3 for 4, double RBI, all 3 hits with 2 strikes in the count. Ties a career high in knocks. 3rd time he's done it. And it was just great to see Adell with a double, a single, an RBI, and then another single. Gooby, you win. There's your Toyota player of the game.
Love it.
No doubt.
Felt he was going to have that game tonight. Joe Adell, that's impressive. 2 strikes, 3 hits.
Should re-rack that sound from right before his first AB, where Mark Gubicza said he felt it that Joe Adell was going to have a breakout game.
Just liking the way this team has played throughout this whole game, whether it's in the field, on the mound, some big pitches made by Patrick Sandoval to prevent any damage done, especially in that 3rd and 4th inning. The offense, 13 hits, 6 walks, and balance in a lineup.
Now 7-2. Top 9. Jack Mayfield 2 for 3. New pitcher, Pedro Baez.
Baez fastball, not overpowered. He's got some running action. He's low 90s, 90, 94. Slider changeup. He's got a real good changeup.
Hit well, center field. Over to make the catch is Siri. A good jump on that one, squared up by Mayfield, but out number 1 here, top 9.
That's it, going back to that expected slugging percentage. That's one of those hits, a crusher. Hit that ball on the barrel, exit velocity, but run down by Siri in center.
So here's Kurt Suzuki. It's called a good game, and a good game at the dish as well. As usual, Ric Flair makes a late appearance here at Minute Maid. Suzuki over to right field. Kyle Tucker under that for out number 2 here in the night. Angels 3 outs away from evening this series. Wonder who we'll see in the 9th for the Halos to come out. Non-save situation. Our player of the game, Joe Adell. Double, single, single. Bartender, I'll take another double.
Just looking at Aaron Loop, did a nice job, 18 pitches, so you would think he'll be available tomorrow.
One and one.
Joe just going to wait to get the 2 strikes before he does the damage.
Right-hander Andrew Wantz just activated, is up in the Angels bullpen. And here's his opportunity. I'm buying if he does it, Gooby. Gets a piece of Ryan Willis.
There's been a whole lot of arguing with the batters with Willis behind the plate today. Outside of maybe that one to Kyle Tucker, he's been pretty consistent, both sides.
Good take. I think Joe Mad might have had some issues with Bolino last night behind the plate. Garcia feeling there was some box out there, but another night here tonight. 2-2 to Joe Adell. Foul back. It's already been a breakout night for Joe Adell. Can he do some more damage here?
Trying to get him to chase a changeup. We're through it.
Certainly a hitter like Joe Adell, and most big league hitters are, you know, they're sitting fastball right, and they're making their adjustments to the off-speed stuff. Does Baez challenge him here with the fastball? He does, and it's fouled away. Oh, and he got him. Joe Adell finally goes down with 2 strikes. We head to the bottom of the ninth.
Day bottoms up, did a really good job of getting those pitches on the lower bottom part of the strike zone and bringing them up and hitting the ball up the middle the other way for an impressive amount of hits with 13 in the game. Joe Adell doing the damage with 3 hits with 2 strikes on him. The balance in the lineup, working those pitches at bottom and working them up, doing the damage.
Gooby, Angels' approach with 2 strikes this year has been really, really good.
2 times this year already. They've had 6 hits in the game. The other one down in Texas against the Rangers. 34 hits this season, 3rd best in baseball, or 3rd best in the American League with 34 hits with 2 strikes.
Andrew Wantz, the new Angels pitcher, just called up from Salt Lake, making his season debut against Chas McCormick. The first pitch strike. McCormick 2 for 3. Final 3 outs here in the bottom of the ninth, 5-run lead. It's kind of interesting, right? We were in the Angels clubhouse, media veil, and we were talking with Kenny Rosenberg, made his MLB debut, and Wantz comes in with a Salt Lake Bees bag, sets it down. They give each other like a nice, you know, hug. But that was the exchange. But what I found interesting is there's camaraderie. There's they're teammates. They understand. There's none of that. There's no jealousy. It's like, hey, next man up. Well done. How'd you do last night? I just thought that was pretty neat to see.
And the way the season, and Charlie Benassi said this was the first game of the year, how there was going to be a lot of movement as far as pitchers, especially with a condensed, shortened spring training, the arms. You're just going to need depth, and you're seeing that already, especially guys out of the bullpen.
Wantz was a pitcher who I thought had a really good spring, and I thought with that extended, roster, that he might make this club out of camp. But here he is. He gets McCormick to pop up. Taylor Ward coming in. The Angels have 2 outs to go. I would assume, Mark, that Ortega would be in line for the W.
Yep, definitely.
Those 2 innings.
Very, very effective.
Yeah, he
2
was.
innings.
There's a drive left field, but Brandon Marsh says, no problem, I got this. Donato is retired for the 2nd out. Only 1 hit on the season so far for Astros catchers.
That's 14 fly ball outs tonight for Halo pitching against the Astros. 14.
Stay tuned for our Angels Live post-game show. Back in our Bally Sports studios, Ken French, Bobby Valentine standing by. Erica Weston down on the field, and we'll also get some Angels reactions to what hopefully will soon be a Halo victory. Jeremy Pena back in that 7th inning. Solo home run, his 2nd of his career. 0-2.
Boy, fastball that runs off the plate, pulled a foul. 94-mile-an-hour fastball back inside upper part of the upper quadrant of the strike zone.
Fly ball, right field. Taylor Ward is there. Light up that halo. 7-2. Angels over the Astros, and they even up this series 1 apiece.
Really love the approaches throughout the entire game by the hitters. The defense was there. Velasquez made some solid plays defensively, but Kurt Suzuki, great behind there. Joe Adell, Taylor Ward. I just love the fact that he had so much balance in that lineup and what they were trying to do, that big part of the field, going the other way. 2 strikes, 6 hits with 2 strikes. Very, very impressive, evening up this series in a big win, even though it's early. A win against a team that's had success against you, not only this year, but over the last number of years, and in this ballpark. Good to see that for Joe Maddon's club.
Then it was back in that 5th inning, Gooby, when they busted this game wide open.
That ground ball going for Taylor Ward, and then the other way, Anthony Rendon, loving to see that. Little bobble there by Tucker, then a little flare by Matt Duffy to right, driving in a run. And this continued with good, solid contact. No home runs in the game, but still knocked out one of the toughest pitchers in the game, and Robert Valdez. And then that line drive by Kurt Suzuki, driving in a couple key walks. Captain Caveman driving in a run. going up the middle. Loving that.
5 runs in that 5th inning. Angels now a half game up over the Astros in the AL West. And that sets up a big rubber match tomorrow. Let's go down to Erica Weston, who's standing by with Kurt Suzuki.
Thanks, Patrick. Zook, you guys going up against Valdez. He doesn't give up a lot in this one. Jumped on him specifically in that 5th inning. How were you guys able to take advantage of him in this one tonight?
You just try to wait him out. I mean, just try to be selective. Obviously, he's got stuff that moves all over the place, you know. So, you know, just try to zone in on a spot. When you get your pitch to hit, don't miss it. But you try to do too much and get out of your game, and then you can kind of, you know, just go downhill from there. That's what he wants. So you just try to stay within yourself, have an approach, and stick with it.
How about the last few nights, the defense we've seen from Andrew Velasquez out there?
Oh, he's been unbelievable, man. He comes in, plays short. He's all over the field. You know, you look at him, he's playing like right field, throwing guys out at first. He's all over the place. It's awesome.
I want to talk to you about Patrick Sandoval. Battled through this one tonight, but no earned runs as far as his last 2 outings in the 8 innings we've seen him this season. Specifically, that at-bat against Maldonado in the 4th with 2 runners on could have been a difference maker in the game. The 11-pitch AB. How did he battle through that one and get back?
You know, Sandy was great tonight. You know, he attacked these guys. It's a great lineup. You know, they're going to make you work, throw pitches, but you know, Sandy attacked. You know, there's a couple times where he fell behind a little bit, but you know, he went right at guys. That Maldi at bat was probably the biggest one of the night. Like you said, 11 pitches. He kept throwing strike after strike and just basically said, I'm coming with the fastball. Let's see who wins. And, you know, for us, it was tonight, it was us, so it was great.
Last one for you. You guys tie the series up, have a chance for the win. You got Ohtani on the bump tomorrow. You feeling pretty good about that?
Anytime Show gets on the bump and swings the bat, I feel really good.
Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Erica. Yeah, we all feel good about tomorrow. Can't wait for that one. It took 3 hours, 36 minutes in front of a crowd of 30,212 and a 7-2 Angels win over the Houston Astros. Plenty more coming up. Angels Live, Bobby Valentine, Ken French, Mark Gubaza, and myself on the other side. Big win for the Angels.